Crystal Cantor claims her ex-boyfriend ruined her life when he posted a nude image of her on social media. Darren Lewis says the photo is no different than what she normally posts herself.
All rise. Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Lauren Lake presiding.
You may be seated.
Hello, Your Honor.
Hello. Thank you, Sean. Good day, everyone.
Good day.
This is the case of Cantor versus Lewis. Miss Cantor, you are suing Mr. Lewis for $10,000 for emotional distress. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor, it's correct.
And Mr. Lewis, you say that you are not responsible for her distress.
That is correct, Your Honor.
All right. Let's start with the plaintiff. What happened?
Your Honor, I went through hell. I'm in a huge emotional distress still. This person, my ex-boyfriend, Darren, posted my private naked photo on the Instagram. Instagram took it down, of course, but my family saw that. It basically ruined my relationship with my ex-partner, actually.
Did you bring a copy of the photo that was posted?
No, I do not have it with me anymore.
Your Honor, I have a picture right here. Yes.
So you did post it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Don't you dare to show that.
You submitted the post to the court. The picture is there on the monitor. What in the world would possess you to post a naked photo of your ex-girlfriend on Instagram and then caption it, "So happy for my girl Crystal on her new relationship"? What kind of crap is this?
Your Honor, the photo posting was honestly coming from a good place and good intentions.
What good place?
Oh, really?
You said it was
Really?
a naked photo. That's even against Instagram's guidelines. She said they took it down.
And as you can see, they took it down, and it only really got 38 likes. Not really much of a reach when you compare that
It's
to
now over whole internet. All my family saw that. You
1,173
ruined my
followers that
relationship
she
with
has.
my ex-boyfriend that I really,
Photos
really
that
love.
were basically the same caliber of this, that she posted willingly, that had a much wider reach, hundreds of likes we're talking, that had basically just as much nudity as this. She's
so
trying
hold on.
to. Yeah.
Do you have a picture of what her page used to look like?
I do not, Your Honor.
All right. So I don't know why you're talking about it then. Because why are you talking about something that you can't prove in court? That means you're just running your mouth and wasting my time. So moving on, Miss Cantor, when do you see the photo? Where are you when you see the photo?
From the phone of my ex-boyfriend, Michael.
All right. And then you say to him what? He says to you, what in the world is this?
Yeah, he was a very conservative person. You know, he's from very conservative family, and me actually originally too. And when I met him, I finally went on a direction in life where I can be myself, in a space where nobody judging me or pushing me to actually post, you know, provocative photos that actually Darren were pushing me to post during our relationship. You know,
He was making you post sexy photos of yourself.
That's not true.
I felt constant pressure.
No, that is not
okay?
true.
I felt constant pressure, like, because he is a photographer and he's traveling all the time, and the most connection that we have was through FaceTime calls. And before every
What does that have to do with him pressuring you to post sexy photos?
Because he were texting to me every time.
No.
Before,
I never
before the
pressured
call
you to
and
post
asking me more
anything or to
hot
take any-
pictures.
Oh, so
to
he
send him.
wanted you to send hot pictures of yourself to him,
Yes.
but did he want you to post them on your Instagram?
Yeah, because he's a photographer and he's like, you know, you will be looking like better, hotter, you get more followers. And I did not like it from the day one, this idea, but because I was
So you said
into him.
your point is he's a photographer. He was encouraging you to be this influencer and take these pictures
Yes.
and post these pictures. It wasn't how you really wanted to portray yourself.
Of course.
And this was during your relationship.
with him, yeah.
How long did you all date?
3 months, Your Honor.
3 months.
Were you taking pictures? Is this what you do? Are you a photographer, but what you really like to do is take pictures of naked women and encourage women to post very provocative photos on social media? Is that your MO?
That's not my MO, Your Honor. I'm a professional photographer. I travel all over the country, and I do a lot of different work, including weddings,
And
swimsuit
naked
models,
women's,
male swimsuit models, street
including-
photography. I do portraits. I do corporate photography. Okay, I do it all. I was very transparent about this when we first started dating.
Coming up,
And it's the photo that I have that makes me the happiest when I see her, when I think about her. So I thought, let's
You're
commemorate this
lying.
moment.
You're lying. Does that nameplate say Boo Boo the Fool? No.
we're back with the case of Crystal Cantor, who brought her ex-boyfriend, Darren Lewis, to court for damaging her reputation.
Did you encourage her to get more followers by posting sexy pictures on her page?
No, Your Honor, she was already always posting sexy photos on her page out of her own
Never
accord
before
the
him.
entire time. As a matter of fact, I was very clear with her that I love you for who you are, inside and out, regardless of what you post or what you look like.
And I love you so much the way you are that when we break up and you get a new boyfriend, I'm going to say congratulations by posting a naked picture of you on the internet. You making about as much sense as I just did.
Your Honor, I genuinely thought the photo was beautiful and displayed her in her best light, and it's the photo that I have that makes me the happiest when I see her, when I think about her. So I thought, let's commemorate
You're
this
lying.
moment.
You're lying. Does that nameplate say Boo Boo the Fool? No. You're lying. Come up with something better. I'll wait.
Your Honor, this whole new conservative, I'm conservative, this new boyfriend is bringing me back to where I'm supposed to be, it's all an act. She's always been posting these promiscuous photos, and the truth is she's only claiming to have this conservative outlook and mindset so that she can align with this new boyfriend so that she can then milk him for more money, just like
really?
she's trying to milk me for
Oh, really?
$10,000 right now,
Are
just
you
like she was
serious,
trying to
Darren?
milk me for money when
I
we
bought
were
2
dating.
copies from his card and one
Ooh.
dress.
See, Sean, all you got to do is challenge him.
It all
Then they
comes
start
out.
telling all the dirt. What else did she do, Mr. Lewis? She was
used my
trying to
card
milk
to
you
buy
for
all
money.
kinds of things. She was buying meals with other people.
Who gave me
she
this
was
card?
buying
Darren, who
dresses,
gave me this
shopping
card?
sprees. You took the card while I was traveling on work, and then
You gave me
she would
yourself
also
this
use the
card.
card to buy what's that sexy lingerie that she would then
For
send
you,
photos
because
of
you
me
were
in.
pressuring me to be this
I
way
never
for
pressured you to.
All right.
The biggest red flag is that whole time he was lying to me. This is how I realized this is not the person I
not
want to
true.
be with. And after I moved on, and yes, I changed, Your Honor. People changed because I
But they
started
don't
to have a
change
relationship
overnight.
with another
Were you
person.
charging up his credit cards and were you spending his money while
Yes.
he was? You were.
I was Your Honor because he gave me this credit card. And the thing is, why I started spending the money, because I wanted to get his attention and I wanted to see if he really do cares about me. My mom told me if the guy is spending money on you, it means he really do care about you, you know, and want to
I
become
really
one.
did care about you, actually, and I
Really?
would spend money on you.
And
if
that's
you
why you
recall
posted
that,
my naked
that
photo
gold
on the
rose
Instagram.
necklace that I got you for your birthday.
Right?
I did spend
That my
money
grandma
for
and my
you
family
until you took
to
it
sew
out
my
of
naked
control and
picture.
started spending
All right,
all
let's
the money.
get some order. Well, I asked.
Yeah,
I asked.
they told.
So we know what's going on here. This is obvious. This is a breakup gone wrong. You are feeling abandoned, Mr. Lewis. You're angry. You are angry at the way in which Miss Cantor operated during the relationship. You felt taken advantage of. She moved on with the new guy. And you weren't happy about that. And so you wanted to out her, right? You wanted to expose her. And it's interesting that you
Exactly.
decided to post a naked picture because you wanted to expose her on many levels. And that picture, am I just too deep? Or is it obvious, gallery? He's a photographer, so his way of exposing her was through a photo. And what you were saying was, oh, here you go. After I spent all my money, gave you my credit cards, and did whatever it took to try to keep you, you moved on with this other guy. And what you should have known as a photographer is you absolutely cannot post pornographic, nude photos of someone else on the internet, that is what you call revenge porn. And there are laws that protect people from that, because you know good and well that that was not okay. I can see the look in your eyes, you knew it was not okay. And so I want to know, Ms. Cantor, once he posted that, what type of damages did that cause for you?
Besides that, all my friends and my family and grandma saw that. My boyfriend, Michael, literally broke up with me. And last of the vacation, I was...
Where did he get this picture from? You sent it to him?
No, he actually showed me. My friends...
No, where did Mr. Lewis get the naked picture from? You sent it to him?
I sent him to him privately.
Right, so you...
During our
and that's another
relationship.
lesson. Ladies and men, let's stop sending nude pictures, right? Because you know that still lives in the cloud in your phone and everything else.
The thing is, I loved him. I loved him very much, and he was traveling.
months?
I wanted to make it work, and he was traveling all the time.
It was 90 days. Y'all didn't love each other that much in 90 days.
Coming up.
And you're never thinking about what's the worst case scenario. If I send this nude picture to this man that I want so bad, and I got his credit cards, and I'm spending money, and my mother told me if he spend money, he really loves you. And I'm not gonna say nothing about your mama, except that she's wrong.
We're back with the case of Crystal Cantor, who brought her ex-boyfriend, Darren Lewis, to court for damaging her reputation.
The bottom line is you just doing too much, too fast. You're not thinking, you're not protecting yourself, and you're never thinking about what's the worst case scenario. If I send this nude picture to this man that I want so bad, and I got his credit cards, and I'm spending money, and my mother told me if he spend money, he really loves you, and I'm not gonna say nothing about your mama, except that she's wrong. Because there's a lot of men who just spend money because they got money to spend. It doesn't mean they care about you. And ultimately, when you move on with someone else, he then posts this kind of picture. I need to know from you, what are your damages? You were upset, your family knew.
I have a receipt here.
That's what I'd like to see.
$4,000 that I paid for my flight to back home from Paris.
I'll take care of it too.
Your Honor, her grandmother or her friends did not see this. As you can see,
Do
if
you
you
have
pull it up.
any other damages besides the plane ticket? You were informed about the picture. What are your other damages besides this plane ticket?
I broke up with the guy that I was really into.
All
Who
right.
you were dating for 1 month.
I am from very conservative family, and my parents now actually do not speak with me.
Okay.
And I'm afraid that next time when I will be have a relationship with somebody who I really love, he's gonna post something more private that we had when we were together.
And so you live in constant fear.
Yes.
That he's going to be posting because he has more nude pictures.
Because
Have any
this
other
man
nudes.
has no owner.
I don't have
exactly.
anything else.
You don't have any other pictures.
No.
Coming up.
I woke up in the middle of the night right now and just thinking how I have to prove myself to the people that this image that he created about me, this is not who I am.
We're back with the case of Crystal Cantor, who brought her ex-boyfriend, Darren Lewis, to court for damaging her reputation.
Ms. Cantor, I need you to tell the court what damage you've suffered because of Mr. Lewis's unlawful actions.
Besides that, my family do not speak with me anymore. I actually lost my job. Your Honor, I love kids. I used to work with the kids, helping in a kid garden, you know, and now nobody wants me around the kids because everybody think about me, I don't know in what. I've been in such emotional distress this last months that I started visiting psychotherapy, you know, counselor, and this is money too. This plane ticket for $4,000 that I had to get covers just like half of the amount that I'm asking. Who is gonna like pay for the time that I will be searching for the new job, and if I will find this job ever again, because people now do not want to have anything to do with me, and this is not the person I am. It just was so much shame and so much embarrassing. Like last 3 nights, I literally was crying. I woke up in the middle of the night right now and just thinking how I have to get out from all of that. How I have to prove myself to the people that this image that he created about me, this is not who I am.
And now you're left to undo what one post and one picture can do.
That
And I
basically
hope you
ruined my
understand
life.
that now, Ms. Cantor, right? Because had you not sent that picture to him, he wouldn't have it in his possession to use against you. Do you understand?
Yeah.
It doesn't make what he did right at all, because he's wrong as the day is long.
Judge Lake's verdict when We the People returns.
You're not the first young woman, and you're not the last one to see a successful, artistic guy taking pictures and looking like he's enjoying life and traveling the world, and he's whining and dining you and leaving you credit cards to spend, to get caught up and cross the line on what you know you need to be doing for yourself. Right?
Yes.
And when
Yes,
you
Your
don't
Honor.
respect and protect yourself, you leave the door open for someone to disrespect you. Do you understand? And that's exactly what
You're
happened.
absolutely right.
It has been obvious to this court that Ms. Cantor has suffered significant damages due to the emotional distress caused by your unlawful behavior, Mr. Lewis. And for this reason, judgment for the plaintiff for $10,000. Court is adjourned.
All rise.
Judge Lake has ruled in favor of the plaintiff. The defendant owes $10,000.
This is what you deserve. It's what you made it yourself.
Says it all. Exit this way, please.
Charlie Wright claims her cousin is entirely to blame for the boot on her car after she kindly loaned him the vehicle. Jamarcus Charles says Ms. Wright needs to look in the mirror because it's not his fault.
All rise. Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Lauren Lake presiding.
Thank you, Sean. Please be seated. Good day, everyone. Good day. This is the case of Wright versus Charles. Ms. Wright, you are suing Mr. Charles for $850.06. That's right. You say he got some parking tickets and didn't pay while he was driving your car. And Mr. Charles, you say you don't owe her anything because she already had unpaid parking tickets on her vehicle before you borrowed it.
That's correct, John.
All right, take me back to what happened. You let Mr. Charles borrow your car?
Yes, I let my cousin borrow my car because, number one, he was coming out here. He was turning 30. And I thought, as his cousin, let me do something nice. My mom convinced me to let him borrow my car, and we was throwing him a surprise birthday party at Juanito's. So when he was coming back out here, I said, all right, my mom said, let him use your car. So that day, we decided to drive my car over to his apartment because he was making a transition from Atlanta to Queens, New York.
Okay.
Gave him the car. We went to go back and prep for the dinner.
All right, so you gave him your car to borrow so he could run around and do the errands and things he needed to do to be ready for the party.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, you went back to get the party together.
Yes, ma'am.
She let you borrow your car, Mr. Charles. Were you appreciative of that?
I was very appreciative, Your Honor, because I was still in the process of moving. My car was being shipped. I had more boxes coming. So I had really a lot going on at that time.
So you ran some errands that day?
I did.
What happens with these parking tickets?
So pulling up to the restaurant, I saw it was a new construction going on in the area. So I called my auntie to figure out, hey, where should I park the vehicle at? Because there's no parking structure for me to park the car. She points at this one spot that's like a block away from Juanito's, not too far away. So I pull up to the parking spot, I park, get out, then we walk in the restaurant. We walk in the restaurant, everybody's in there, Your Honor. Like all my cousins, uncles, brothers, I haven't seen in a while, people I've never talked to in years, high school classmates, and I'm just so happy for the fact that my family even did all this for me, you know. And
Let's get to the subject at hand.
Yes, sir.
The case is about unpaid parking tickets. You're suing for $850.06. Why is that, Ms. Wright?
The reason why I'm suing for that amount is because, number one, my cousin had the parking. He had the car, right? He was out. He didn't tell you. He got drunk. So prior to the incident, he did not tell you that we was at the party and we had a discussion. I was leaving that night from Juanitos. We was partying. I had to go to work the next morning, 8 o'clock a.m. My mom, me, and him, we all talked. And my mom was like, you know what? Let him keep it. Let him keep the car. Second nice thing I do, and this is the second thing that I listened what my mom said. Let him keep the car. So I let my cousin keep the car for the night. So I went to work. Next morning, I'm at work, and then I get off work.
I want you to get to the parking.
I'm getting there, Your Honor.
No, get there now.
Okay, all right, so the parking come. My mom said, oh, just to let you know, your cousin, he said it's a boot on your car. I said, are you joking right now? So we went back to Juanitos, and a boot was on my car. Because, number one, he parked too far from the curb, and then I already had prior tickets on the car.
All right. Now, we made it to the parking tickets. Now, Mr. Charles, you left the car there in front of the restaurant?
Yes, Your Honor, 1 block away. Yep, it's right by the restaurant.
Okay, and so when you came out, I guess, there was a boot on the car.
No, Your Honor. So that night, after we agreed that she would let me keep the vehicle for the night, and her mom would take her to work. So me and my friends, we went bar hopping after the party because I wanted to spend a little more time with them. I haven't seen them in years.
You walking or you driving on this bar hop?
We were walking, Your Honor.
Okay.
We were walking. So we walked down the street to a couple bars. We had a couple of drinks, a couple of shots. And then next thing I know, I was overly intoxicated. My friend recommended, hey, bro, no, don't drive, bro, because, you just got back home, man. That's not a good move. You can get a DUI. So that's okay. He took me home. He said, hey, just get up in the morning, come back, get the car. That's okay, too easy.
Oh, so you didn't even look at the car before you left because you were drunk. So your friend was like, don't drive. So someone took you home.
Yes, Your Honor.
Coming up.
I would have never got that boot if I didn't give the defendant my car or my vehicle.
You got it. Eureka.
And later.
I didn't want to split up, and it was very sudden. It was just one day she said, I'm leaving.
We're back with a dispute between cousins Charlie Wright and Jamarcus Charles over parking tickets and a booted vehicle.
When did you find out there was a boot on the car?
So, Your Honor, after I went to sleep, I woke up the next morning around about noon. I woke up, I called an Uber over to find the car. Immediately when I get out the car, there's a big yellow boot and a ticket on the window. The ticket's for the street sweepers that have to come by in the morning, and also for me being parked a little too far away from the sidewalk. But the boot led to confusion with me, because I've never seen this kind of incident before. So I immediately just called my cousin, because this is her car. I'm like, hey, cuz, I'm trying to call her. She's not answering the phone. Like, her phone's not even ringing. It's going straight to voicemail. So I don't know what's going on. I'm starting to panic. So I said, you know what? No, let me call Auntie. I call Auntie. I let her know. Hey, Auntie, there's a boot on the vehicle. I don't know what could be the problem.
Auntie is her mother.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right.
So I said, there's a boot on the vehicle. I don't know where it could have came from. She said, hey, baby, don't worry about it. She said, we just got to celebrate your birthday. Relax yourself. You got a lot to do. Go home, relax, and we'll take care of it. Then she calls me, cursing me out.
Your Honor, no, I did not. I did not cuss this man out. Number one, I explained to him I was very upset. I'm like, how are we going to fix this situation? I have a boot on my car. What are we going to do? He starts slurring his words.
Well, okay.
And I couldn't even talk to him properly. He was like, I said, you know what? Click. I have to be the mature adult here, and I need to handle business. So I said, you know what? Let me make some calls. I called the boot people. I said, I understand I got a boot on my car. How do I take care of this? They told me, you know what? You have this outstanding amount to pay, and you need to pay this right now.
Where are the tickets? Anybody have copies of the tickets?
Here's the tickets right here.
I'll take all of your evidence right there. Thank you.
So once you heard back, you talked to the boot people, you got them on the line, they told you what you need to do. Here's the parking ticket.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor. And then I'd like to also say, Your Honor, you see, she said tickets. I incurred a ticket,
right?
Not tickets. So I'm trying to figure out, why am I being held accountable for something that you didn't do your own self?
Your Honor, he incurred for me to have the boot.
So you got the boot because you were on the street sweeping side?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Not because you had other tickets?
No, Your Honor. No.
So if you got pulled over, they wouldn't have asked for that? They wouldn't have found out that you have unpaid parking tickets on a vehicle, so you put me at risk?
I gave you my car to take care of.
All right, so Ms. Wright, in this evidence folder, you've got the tickets. You've got one ticket for $176.12. That's the defendant's ticket from parking 8 inches away from the curb and in a no parking area. We also have a slew of tickets that you had to pay for your unpaid tickets, which supersede even the defendant's ticket. You had outstanding tickets of $420, ma'am.
Yes, you're right, Your Honor. You're right.
Okay.
But I would have never got that boot if I didn't give the defendant my car or my vehicle.
You got it. Eureka. Newsflash. Hear what you just said. You wouldn't have gotten the boot had you not loaned the defendant your car. You should have known that you definitely don't give people your car that don't know how to park in New York, and then your mom told him where to park. He pulls over in a parking area where he shouldn't have been parking. He got a ticket for that. The boot is because of all the unpaid parking tickets that you had.
Can he be accountable for where he parked the car?
Can you be accountable for that?
I can be accountable for that, Your Honor. I will take that, but you can't hold me accountable for a boot for your past discretions.
You're suing him for $850.06. You basically saying he got to pay you for all the tickets you got before he ever moved to town.
Your Honor.
You are willing to take responsibility for the tickets you got.
Yes, Your Honor.
So what I need to understand, Ms. Wright, before I rule on this case is you let your cousin use your car. You were trying to be nice, and I get that. You were trying to do the right thing, right?
Yes,
but unfortunately, you allowed someone who's inexperienced driving in one of the biggest, if not the biggest and busiest cities in America.
Yes,
so why do you think he's responsible for even the tickets that you got before he ever moved to town?
The reason why I believe he's responsible because he needs to learn a lesson to be more responsible when he's partying, when he's out, and when he's like getting intoxicated. You don't just leave somebody's car. And number one, you don't just listen to when my mom say, "Oh, go park the car." I don't care.
Well, wait now, because earlier in your testimony, you said you and your mom planned all this, and your mom was the one who told you to let him use the car. So you listened to your mother?
I did not want to give him my car, but I did it because I love my cousin. But the fact that everything is getting blamed on me.
You didn't want to give him your car because you had $420 worth of unpaid parking tickets, and you needed to have that thing parked until you paid your parking tickets. All right, I've heard enough. It has been determined by this court that judgment for the plaintiff for $176.12, which is the cost of his parking ticket, you are going to have to deal with the balance of $673.94 in tickets and the cost of the boot because of the unpaid tickets, because that is your fault and your fault alone. Judgment for the plaintiff for $176.12. Court is adjourned.
Judge Lake has ruled in favor of the plaintiff. The defendant owes $176.12.
See, I told you. I told you, I don't know why you put me in this position for. We're supposed to be family here. We're supposed to love each other. You gonna do this to me?
Yeah, I love you, but I still want my money.
Coming up.
I did message her a few different times just saying, "Hey, how are you?" to see if she'd respond at all. She didn't respond until I flat out said, "Did you sell the sculpture?" And that's the only time that she responded.
You sent like 2 texts.
Julia Martell claims her ex-girlfriend sold a sentimental sculpture they bought together while on a trip to Thailand. Rachel Moore says Ms. Martell abandoned the sculpture when they broke up, and she had bills to pay.
Good day, everyone. Good day. This is the case of Martell versus Moore. Ms. Martell, you are suing Ms. Moore for $450, which is half the cost of a sculpture you say she sold.
That's correct.
And Ms. Moore, you are saying that the plaintiff sold other things without your permission during your relationship, and you don't owe her anything.
Yes.
All right. Let's get started with you, Ms. Martell. Tell me about this sculpture. How did you get it? What's the nature of the relationship between you and Ms. Moore?
I'll start at the beginning. We met each other in college. We were both anthropology majors, and as soon as I saw her, I kind of fell head over heels for her, and we hit it off right off the bat. We ended up dating for 2 years before we moved in together, and on our 3rd-year anniversary, we actually went on an anniversary trip to Thailand, to Bangkok, and that is where we got the sculpture. When we got back...
What was the sculpture?
I have a picture of it right
I'd like
here.
to see
it,
please.
And I believe... Here you go.
There you go, Your Honor.
Thank you. Oh, this is lovely. So here it is. It's a beautiful, beautiful sculpture. I mean, it's an elephant with the trunk up. You were living together, so you brought it back to your home.
Exactly.
Okay.
It's our apartment. When COVID did hit and she lost her job, I was fine paying a majority of the rent because we were trying to work through it.
And I did pay everything I could. We were dipping into my savings, and I didn't tell her, but my dad got COVID during that time, and he was in the hospital for a while. It was really serious. He's okay now, but...
And I didn't know about that until right now. I had no idea about your father.
Coming up,
Did you try to reach out to her, Ms. Moore, and say, listen,
No.
things are getting tough?
I didn't reach out to her.
Did you sell it out of anger?
No. Sold it out of need. I wanted to keep it.
we're back with the case of Julia Martell, who brought her ex-girlfriend, Rachel Moore, to court over a sentimental sculpture.
And we were bickering here or there, and it just kind of kept going. And then the financial burden on top of it, I finally kind of hit my breaking point when my car kind of started to break down, and I realized that I had gone through a majority of my funds, and I didn't have really the money to even really fix that.
Can we get to the sculpture?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So about a month or so later, I ran into a mutual friend, and she actually told me that she was talking to her and said that she sold the sculpture, and I was blown away because that had meant so much to us, and we both owned it. And I thought that if she would have sold something that was both of ours, she would have run it by me or talked to me or something. And the fact that she didn't, and then she kept all the money.
So how long after you moved out of the house did she sell the sculpture?
A month.
1 month, 30
1 month.
days.
Yes.
So take me to where you were at that time. When
Right.
Ms. Martell moves out, what happened?
I didn't want to split up, and it was very sudden. It was just one day she said, I'm leaving. And so I said, take your things. Like, it doesn't matter if it's, a gift that I paid for, like if it's just, this house is, our shared stuff. So she took what she wanted and left. I needed to pay rent that month. So the relationship is over, and she left the elephant in the apartment after I said, take what you want. So I figured, okay, that's available for me to sell, and I need to make rent this month.
But you did know how much it meant to both of us. and you
Yeah,
could
I
have
didn't
met-
want
Did
to
you try
sell
to
it.
reach out to her, Ms. Moore, and say, listen,
No.
things are getting tough?
I didn't reach out to her.
Did you sell it out of anger?
No, sold it out of need. I wanted to keep it because, in all honesty, I didn't want to accept that she'd left me.
I did message her a few different times just saying, hey, how are you? To see if she'd respond at all. She didn't respond until I flat out said, did you sell the sculpture? And that's the only time that she responded.
You sent like 2 texts.
Judge Lake's verdict when We the People returns.
I've heard enough. You sold the sculpture, you needed the money, you got $900 for it. Ms. Martell, because you all did own that together, it was a gift to you and together, yes, you could potentially be entitled to $450 of it if you would have cared about it or thought about it, but you didn't. But I don't think 27 days is long enough to say that you completely abandoned any and everything that was still left in that house. It's for this reason I'm going to give you half of what your petition amount is. Judgment for the plaintiff for $225. Court is adjourned.
All rise.
Judge Lake has ruled in favor of the plaintiff. The defendant owes $225.
I'm really sorry I had to bring you to court, and I really wish things could have ended differently between us.
I never wanted to sell the sculpture.
Really,
I'm sorry.
yeah, I wish things had ended differently.
Lily Larson claims she agreed to be part of a documentary, but by the end, it was more like a reality show. Iris Lucy says Ms. Larson's behavior was always over the top and only has herself to blame for how she was portrayed.
All rise. Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Lauren Lake presiding.
Please be seated. Good day, everyone. This is the case of Larson versus Lucy. Ms. Larson, you are suing Ms. Lucy for $6,500 for defamation and underpayment.
Correct, Your Honor.
All right. Tell the court what happened.
I originally got into a contract with Miss Iris Lucy here on the pretenses that it would be shooting a water fasting documentary that would show all aspects of one's emotions. When the documentary came out, it alluded to me being a negative person in an evil light.
All right, so a water fasting documentary. How long were you supposed to fast?
30 days, Your Honor.
All right, so 30 days of fasting on water only?
Yes, Your Honor.
Oh, my goodness. And Ms. Lucy was the producer or the head of the production company?
Correct, Your Honor. She was the writer and the producer.
All right, and so the purpose of the documentary, Ms. Lucy, was to show what? Weight loss, clarity, mental clarity? What were you showing? What was the purpose of the documentary?
Well, water fasting has become sort of a health trend as of late, so I wanted to get on the ground floor with portraying all of the benefits that you can get from water fasting. Some of those are health benefits, some of those are fighting disease benefits, some of those are increased skin clarity benefits, and some of them are mental clarity benefits.
Okay, how many people were in this documentary?
12 in total.
All right. And they were supposed to be, what, in a house?
That's correct. My budget allowed for us to rent a house in Malibu, a beautiful house in Malibu to shoot.
Your Honor, may I interject here?
Yes, please.
That Malibu house was not luxury by far.
It wasn't?
No. We lived with the crew, Your Honor. And the entire time, her and her crew were taunting us. They had food in the refrigerator.
So you lived with the crew, well, presumably so they could capture you at all times of night, right? So what, there were cameras there and the house. But you're saying they were eating in front of you. You didn't send the crew to like a trailer or somewhere else to eat?
No, I didn't find that necessary, nor did we have the space. We had a limited budget. The house that I rented in Malibu is what we could afford. And part of the experiment, if you will, was to see how our participants responded.
So part of it was not just about what drinking water would do, but it was also kind of how do you resist the temptation to eat smelling food. You were doing that as another layer.
Behavioral reactions, yes, Your Honor.
Another layer of this documentary.
That's
how
correct.
they react.
To test their level of commitment. I mean, Miss Larson came to me as a struggling actress, and she clearly thought that she was going to be the star of my documentary. I provided her an opportunity to get some recognition, to accept this challenge. She wanted to lose some weight. She had complained about having gained weight over the pandemic, so I provided her this opportunity. Now she wants to sue me because she doesn't like the way that she was represented in my documentary.
So I want to ask you this, Ms. Larson, and I'm going to give you a chance to continue your testimony. Why did you take on this project?
I took on this project because during the pandemic, like many people, but me personally, I gained 55 pounds. I was at 188 pounds. I contacted a friend. They connected me with Iris Lucy here. I knew that she was a well-known documentary writer and producer. I had the opportunity to be one of the 12 participants, and originally I was excited because it gave me an opportunity to clear my state of mind, to be in better health, but it was just not that.
So this wasn't about the acting for you?
No.
Do you want to be an actress?
Yes, Your Honor.
So this wasn't about acting?
This was about bringing a lens to something that's new, that water fasting for 30 days, and also giving me clarity.
I mean, you can just be honest if you wanted to be on camera, because there's a lot of other ways to get clarity, lose weight.
That's true, Your Honor.
And Your Honor,
without being documented on camera.
Your Honor, but this was not a reality show, and when it was edited, it seemed just like that. This is a documentary. She showed bits and pieces of me and not the entirety of me. And if you're going to try to educate people on water fasting, wouldn't you do that, showing the good, the bad, and the ugly, Your Honor?
Coming up.
She showed not the happy, peaceful moments that I experienced in the beginning at the start of the first half of the 30 days. She showed me crying all day. She showed me bickering with the other participants, throwing barbecue grills in the water.
And later.
I was actually trying to give her, Cash App it, but because she went shopping and she wanted to be all cute for Miami, she was overdrawn.
We're back with a dispute between Lily Larson and documentarian Iris Lucy over defamation and underpayment.
Well, did you show the good and bad and the ugly, Miss Lucy?
Yes, I believe I did.
So let me ask you this, Miss Larson, before I head over there. I want to know from you, Miss Larson, what is it about the way you were portrayed that bothers you so much? I mean, let me just think about not eating anything for 30 days. I might cut a rug. You know what I'm saying, Sean? I mean, you might get some real ugly moments when I'm hungry, hangry. I mean, that's a tough fast. So what is it that you don't like?
She showed not the happy, peaceful moments that I experienced in the beginning at the start of the first half of the 30 days. She showed me crying all day. She showed me bickering with the other participants, throwing barbecue grills in the water because her crew was taunting me. And I expressed my concerns to Miss Lucy here, but she did not address them.
Oh, so you turned all the way up?
Yes.
Okay, so, all right. So, Miss Lucy, I want to understand from you, you are a documentary producer.
Correct.
You've told the court what it is your desire was to show. Why is it you did not capture a holistic view of Miss Larson, or do you feel like you did?
I feel like I did. And I will say, Your Honor, since day one, Miss Larson, as soon as the camera was turned on, she was dramatic. She was already picking fights with the other participants. The first day, she would have crying spells. It was clear she wanted to be in front of the camera. So it wasn't that I just happened to film her bad moments. They were all pretty bad moments to begin with.
And you have people in there eating food every day.
Yes, as they were explained, as the participants were explained from the get-go. Of course the crew was going to eat. Of course I was going to eat.
But you didn't have to eat in their faces.
It was a small space, Your Honor.
In Malibu, Your Honor. This is a mansion that she described earlier.
If you're in Malibu, there's a lot of places to take your food.
Well, for that matter, she
Outside,
could have
by
taken
the
her
beach.
food. She could have taken her food if she was so
She didn't have
tempted.
any food.
Well, I'm sorry, that's correct. She could have taken herself away from the food.
How can I
if it bothered you? Instead, she chose to push the grill, which was cooking meat at the time, into the pool.
All right, so
talk to your crew.
Let me be clear. Why do you feel like she owes you more money? Because they were eating food in front of you? What is the basis of this claim? Why does she owe you $6,500 more dollars?
She exhibited me in a light that was not betrothed of who I am today.
But she cannot edit any pieces of the video, and this is, and I'm glad you're here, because this is important to understand. In the world of documentaries and docuseries and reality TV and all of these things, it is clear that people cannot edit you in a light that you don't provide, right? If you don't provide them with the footage, the actions, they don't have anything to work with.
Your Honor, can I just say one more thing? Is because I was not the only participant that exuded negative actions in that mansion. There were other participants who were going crazy just as much as I was, Your Honor, and yet not one moment were they shown in any other light but happy, joyful, and enjoying the experience. It was just me, Your Honor, and if I'm quote-unquote the star of the show, then why am I not paid a star wage?
Oh. Okay, well, you can't. She popped on out, didn't she?
I think she did.
What's right is right.
So, wait, I thought you entered this for weight loss and clarity from the pandemic. You a star of the show now?
Well, Miss Lucy here told me I was the star of the show. I did it because it's a documentary and not a reality show.
Listen.
Then why did you act like a reality star, throwing grills in the pool and whatnot?
And why did your crew act wrong? Just wrong.
My crew acted like a crew.
Well, I'll say this. Ms. Larson, there is absolutely nothing wrong with your dream of being an actress.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You can't tell me that you didn't see a camera rolling and turn it up a notch to make sure that you were getting a lot of attention on that camera. Because that's what people who want to be actresses do.
Yeah.
And you're not going to convince me that that was not at least part of your motivation for doing this.
It was probably 10% of 15, 20% of the motivation that I had to do this.
You are an actress, but a terrible mathematician. Because that was not 15 to 20% of your motivation. It was not. You got the attention. It wasn't what you wanted, but you were not defamed. And you are not owed another $6,500. With that said, judgment for the defendant. Court is adjourned.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All rise.
Judge Lake has ruled in favor of the defendant. The plaintiff's case is dismissed.
You're a slithering snake, and I'll never work with you ever again.
Enjoy your 15 minutes of fame.
I gave you the 15 minutes of
It's
fame.
about halfway over.
Why do you
so
think
enjoy?
Why do you think your documentary's popular now? It's because of me.
Because of my filmmaking ability.
Your filmmaking ability is trash.
Coming up,
All right.
Right.
So then what happened?
So I told her, I said, okay, well, hey, how about your girlfriends? She's like, oh no, Mom, they're, at the beach. I need this reservation or whatever was going on at the time. So can you just send it to the boyfriend? And I had reservations about it.
Aaron and Patricia Banner claim they loaned their daughter money when her account was overdrawn, but she never paid them back. Jen Banner says she shouldn't have to pay back money she didn't get to use.
Good day, everyone.
Good day.
This is the case of Banner versus Banner. Ms. Banner, you are suing your daughter for $1,500 for failure to repay a loan. Is that correct?
That is correct, ma'am.
And Ms. Banner, you say you never received the money.
That is correct.
All right, I want to start with you, Mom. You're suing your daughter today.
Right.
All right, tell the court why.
Well, it all started with her having a, birthday party. Turning 21 is a huge deal. So what ended up happening was it was her girlfriend, her boyfriend at the time. They flew over to Miami. She swore, Mom, don't worry, everything's taken care of. The dinner, the hotel, and things.
Where were you going, Miss Banner? Tell me about your trip for your 21st birthday.
We get to the Airbnb and we couldn't get it because we weren't 25. So me and my friends ended up getting a hotel. It was $1,000, so we ended up paying for that. Now dinner time comes and I asked my mom, because everything had happened, I asked my mom if she could lend me $1,500. I had overdrafted my account because of all the extra necessities I had to pay for.
So hold on now. You arrived there with what you think was enough money?
Yes, but because that Airbnb had flopped, I ended up having to come out the pocket.
Understood. So you call your mother?
Yes.
Tell me about that conversation.
I called my mother asking her if I can get an extra $1,500. She said, at the end, she did say yes.
So what do? Cash App or whatever that stuff is called?
And that's what happened. I was actually trying to give her, Cash App it. But because she went shopping and she wanted to be all cute for Miami, spending all her money, she was overdrawn.
Her bank account was overdrawn.
Exactly. So she wouldn't get the full amount if I had done that.
Got it. Oh, and even if you Cash Apped it and it deposited in her account, it would still be overdrawn and then she wouldn't have the money.
Coming up.
Why is it that you stand in court today and say you didn't get the money, so you don't owe her anything?
Because I didn't get to.
We're back with the case of Aaron and Patricia Banner, who brought their daughter Jen Banner to court over money loaned for a birthday trip.
I told her, I said, okay, well, hey, how about your girlfriends? She's like, oh no, Mom, they're, at the beach. I need this reservation or whatever was going on at the time. So can you just send it to the boyfriend? And I had reservations about it. I asked her, she said send it to him.
Well, the only reason why she sent it to him is because his card was already on file. We ate at Poppy's Steakhouse, so that's what the reservation was under. It was under his name. His card,
all right. So she sent the money to the boyfriend. You're at the restaurant, and you felt like, okay, he has it. We're all going to eat together anyway.
Yeah,
I'll get it from him. You are saying in your petition, in the court intro, that you never got the money. How is that?
I never got it. We got the bill, and the card declined. My boyfriend's card declined.
He didn't have enough funds in there to cover his expenses either.
Right.
And so once you realized that, he had to come clean because the card declined at the restaurant?
Yeah, and he ended up telling me that he went a little overboard shopping and bought all these shoes, so it was a mess. I was embarrassed.
Oh, and then by the time your mother's money came through, he was overdrawn.
Yes.
So you and your boyfriend don't have your money together. Now you got your mom sending money to him. His account is overdrawn. And so why is it then? I hope you all figured out how to get that bill paid.
Yes, I ended up texting my dad.
What?
I ended up texting my dad.
She called you, Dad?
Yes, she called me.
And then what happened?
He paid the bill.
He sent you more money?
Yes.
Judge Lake's verdict.
You did ask your mother for a loan, am I correct?
Yes.
And so she said yes, and she sent the money.
Yes.
Why is it that you stand in court today and say You didn't get the money, so you don't owe her anything.
Because I didn't get to use it.
Wow. Oh. Do you understand that that's not how loans work?
Yes.
And I think we're in court today because your mother is ready for you to hit rock bottom, and she's ready for you to fall a little bit, so you learn how to get back up. Because if she doesn't teach you these things and you running around town in your 30s and 40s and 50s and can't keep a bank account and borrow money from folks and banks and don't pay it back, you're going to be in a world of trouble. You got the $1,500 because she sent it exactly where she told you. You're still responsible for that. Judgment for the plaintiff for $1,500. Court is adjourned.
Judge Lake has ruled in favor of the co-plaintiffs. The defendant owes $1,500.
Dad, can you let me borrow $1,500?
Are you serious?
It's the last time, I promise.
No, that was my last time.
Thank you, honey.
Seriously, any lesson learned for you?
Wow.
Responsibility.
Gigi Tarani claims she lost out on a major contract after compromising photos of her were posted on social media. Sonia West says it's never been an issue in the past, and she was never told to keep the images confidential.
Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Lauren Lake presiding.
Please be seated.
Hello, Your Honor.
Hello, thank you, Sean. Good day, everyone. Good day. This is the case of Tarani versus West. Ms. Tarani, you are suing Ms. West for $8,000 because you experienced emotional distress and lost sponsorships. Is that correct?
That is absolutely correct.
What happened?
Absolutely. I, Your Honor, am a beauty blogger, and so I make a great deal of my money by representing brands and having brands want to partner with me. That's how I make my money. And I've just recently been building this aspect of my business, but I've been a news reporter for years, an entertainment reporter on the local news. That's when I met Sonia. I saw her work on social media, and she didn't have much of a following. And I thought, but I really liked her work. I mean, she did a great job. And so I reached out to her. And for several years, I've been a client. We've become what I thought was friends. And I actually helped her build her business. She had a small following. I had a very healthy following. And it worked that way. In fact, eventually she started giving me a discount on her services because I was bringing her so much business and bringing her tips and all of that.
Well, it sounds like you're her agent. So how did this go wrong?
Exactly.
And you're in here suing her. What happened?
I am, because I lost a major contract because she posted really humiliating, compromising pictures of me that affected my brand. I came to her because I was experiencing some hair loss, which I never wanted it to be a public issue. I had
Did
a
you
child.
express that to her?
No, you did not. Absolutely.
Ms. West, do you remember Ms. Tarani expressing to you, I'm coming to you for a hair issue, I don't want it to be public?
Well, she definitely told me she was coming to me because she was experiencing some postpartum hair loss, but she definitely did not tell me that I couldn't post. I mean, I've been posting her for a while now. Like she said, she's been my client for years. I've made similar posts. And
what kind of pictures of her have you posted in the past?
I posted pictures of the back of her head and me, the styles that I've done with her, just curling her hair and things like that, her haircuts and all of that.
So back to the plaintiff, Ms. Tarani, you say you had an ongoing relationship with Ms. West as your hairstylist, but you wanted to confide in her about an issue we're having postpartum with hair loss.
And she never posted anything similar to this. She said she posted similar posts.
You didn't have hair that was lost
She
before.
posted pictures of my hair looking great, me smiling. I was posting it too. I wanted to help her build her business.
You were tagging me.
I believe, yeah, I was tagging her. I wanted to help her build her business.
Exactly, you told me to post.
And so I was posting because it looked great. I was getting lots of compliments. When she says she posted similar posts, she has never made a post of a detrimental situation that she knows I was distraught about. I mean, there were times I was in tears in her chair because she knew I was so embarrassed by this. I was so humiliated by this. She knew I had a brand deal in the works with a hair care company.
So she posted pictures of the condition.
Yes, my before picture.
Yeah, before and
I
after.
did not give her permission to do that. When I knew she was taking pictures.
Yeah, it wasn't
so I knew she was taking pictures, but
And what did you think she was taking pictures for?
My understanding was and it made sense, check the progression of growth. You know, you need it before to see how the growth treatments are working. Made total sense. But even then, even though I I felt it was just for our use, I still said, I don't even want my face in it because
How
I was
did you
so
find
paranoid.
out you were posted? You saw it?
People called me. It was so obviously me. If you look at the post,
I blurred your face
Do you
out.
have a copy of the post?
I do. I
Let
not
me
only
see it,
have a
please.
copy of her post, but I also have a post right behind it of one that she actually tagged my name. And you can see they're so similar. So the one in which my name's tagged, people know it's me. And then the detrimental one, she didn't tag me by name, but it's so obviously me. And if you look under it in the comments, you'll see people tag my name because they know it's me. And they were saying, oh my gosh, Gigi, I'm so sorry you have to deal with this. I'm so sorry you have to go through this hair loss.
So this is, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I see this post, Ms. West. It says hair loss can be embarrassing, but we can solve it together.
Yes.
This is just one client I've helped on her journey to fuller hair. And you've blocked out her face, but her profile is still very recognizable.
Coming up.
She has taken me out by the knees for the chance of working with any hair care brand.
Oh, I
That
highly
is a
doubt
huge
that.
part of my
Well,
business.
that's not necessarily true because you could work with a hair care brand that says they specialize in regrowing.
I don't want to be known for that.
Closed captioning provided by. If you'll be in the Los Angeles area and want to bring your case to court, call 1-888-552-6878. You're watching We the People with Judge Lauren Lake. We're back with the case of Gigi Tarani, who brought Sonia West to court over a compromising social media post.
And that's tagged with my name on it.
So, I mean, you've tagged me in posts before.
Because that's a picture of my hair looking good.
So this is the next post where it says, great working with, and you tag her.
Yes.
Gigi Tarani, look at her amazing hair. So this is after she started to grow it out.
I mean, look at her hair now. You ain't got no bald spots now?
So,
That's
Ms.
not the
West,
point.
I do want to get to you, and I want to understand your position in this. Why did you decide to post these particular pictures?
So I posted these particular pictures because I was very proud of my work and so excited that I worked really hard for these 6 months to help you grow your hair back healthy. And I wanted to show and have people know that there is sunshine at the end of the road if you have hair loss. And I didn't post it to be malicious or anything. I was just posting it, to give encouragement. And because she is an influencer and she has been talking about her postpartum journey, I didn't think that it would be a problem. And again.
So you were talking about your postpartum journey on your page, Ms. Tarani.
Yes, but not my hair loss. I said postpartum's tough, and I was sharing my experience with others on how tough it was, but I wasn't willing to share hair loss. I mean, this is such an embarrassing thing. I'm going to therapy for it now.
Well, I should be in therapy too, for you dragging me to court,
lucky I'm
girl.
not suing her for the medical bills, which I included to show you that they came after this incident because after I went to the dermatologist, she recommended I go to a dermatologist. They said stress, anxiety, this whole situation actually,
you were stressed
it makes the
and had
condition
anxiety
worse.
before you came
and
to
so
me.
it makes the condition worse. And I'm seeing a therapist to try to mitigate this because it's making the situation worse. And
So
this
you
is
had to go to the dermatologist. You have a bills for the dermatologist for $776. You have
And now a
another bill
therapist,
for
yes,
therapy
for the
for
stress and anxiety
$600.
and that
in my chair.
And so that's $700 and $600 and $776. What is the other amount for? It totals.
Well, actually, it's $8,000 for the contract. So there's also a contract there with the hair care brand that I signed and agreed to. And you'll notice that they sent me a letter rescinding that contract because of her social media post.
And what about her social media post interfered with whatever their...
They don't want to be associated with hair loss. They've already had some things or people talking about their products that there might be hair loss. And it's not just this contract,
And
Your
I
Honor.
told you that.
It's not just this contract.
I told
she
you not to
has
go with
taken
them.
me out by the knees for the chance of working with any hair care brand.
Oh, I
That
highly
is a
doubt
huge
that.
part of my
Well,
business.
that's not necessarily true because you could work with a hair care brand that says they specialize in regrowing.
I don't want to be known for that.
But listen, that's not the point I'm making. But I do understand, and I can see from this contract, that you did receive a letter stating that due to the posts, right, that they regret to inform you that they can't proceed with the promotion they had planned, and they may find another fit with you later, but right now, this particular collaborative effort was going to be canceled.
Right.
And this is because it didn't align with what they wanted to promote. How much money did you lose on this deal?
That was an $8,000 contract. And I also want to point out, Your Honor, that it should be my choice what I want to represent. She has no right to exploit me. I'm probably the most well-known celebrity client she has. She didn't have hardly any following before me. And she should not be able to exploit me. I did not give permission to show me in this light, to give her permission to show me in this light. And it should be my choice what products I want to represent and if I want to represent myself as a hair loss person.
And what do you have to say to that, Ms. West?
Okay, Your Honor, I was not exploiting her. Like I said before, we have agreed. I was giving you discounted services. Now, it wasn't a formal agreement, but I gave you discounted services to be able to post my work. And now, the only reason why we're here, Your Honor, is because she came back to me after the fact of me posting that and this horrible thing that's happening to her that she's brought me here to sue me for, is because I told her that I'm not going to give her discounted services anymore because I can't post my journey with her or my work with her anymore. So she's going to have to pay full price. She got very upset, and this is why we're here in court now. She didn't have a problem coming back to me after the post and everything. I have some evidence here as well.
Please pass your evidence up to me. I'd like to see what you have.
Yes.
So you feel like because you said now you're not going to get discounts so you can post, she's now upset, and so she's basically saying, well, you owe me $8,000.
Yes, Your Honor. And
do you still want to work with Ms. West, Ms. Tarani?
Well, I was actually willing. I did go back to her. I already had an appointment scheduled. After this post happened, she took it down immediately. I already had an appointment scheduled because she is helping me with the hair growth. And I really thought at that point, like, could this have been a mistake? But her response to me, that whole thing about charging me full price, that whole thing, like, it made me realize that she is just doing this. She doesn't care about me at all. She totally knew what she was doing.
Coming up.
You're growing her hair back. And your services work. Hold on. It's working. And this is where compromise and resolution are so key when it comes to legal disputes. Because there's a way to work.
We're back with the case of Gigi Tarani, who brought Sonia West to court over a compromising social media post.
I do see where you sent the text and she says, of course, I will take it down immediately. I'm so sorry.
The damage was done.
This is the issue. Ms. West, I don't think you were being malicious, but you also did want to brand your business. When you were taking the pictures, she was trusting that they were just progress notes, right? Markers.
Okay.
The issue that I'm having is, as a licensed stylist and as a person who understands how important a person's hair is to them, our hair is our crown. Sean, it's okay, because you still have a crown. Still handsome, still have a crown. But I do not think it was professionally responsible of you to post these pictures that you took without having explicit agreement between the two of you. I think that that's just common respect.
Well, Your Honor, she never told me not to post them.
But she never told you to post it. And a person has a right to control and be able to make and create boundaries around how their name and their likeness will be used. I do not think it was malicious. However, there was a direct consequence, a business consequence that she faced as a result of your actions. Now, this is the issue that I'm having, because I don't want y'all to file out because you're growing her hair back. And your services work. Hold on. It's working. And this is where compromise and resolution are so key when it comes to legal disputes, because there's a way to work this out. You say she owes you $8,000. But at the same time, you really want to continue to go to her.
No.
You don't want to go to her.
I do not.
Coming up.
I'm not going to go after her for the therapy or the emotional distress, even though this is.
I mean, you've been going to therapy before that. So let's be real.
We're back with the case of Gigi Tarani, who brought Sonia West to court over a compromising social media post.
She could give me discounted services for the rest of my life, and it still
So,
wouldn't
Ms.
add up to the
Tarani,
business
this
that
is
I
one of
give
the
her.
things right here.
No.
People do this all the time. I gotta go. I was trying to help you all resolve this, but I got other people to help. This is exactly what happens. As you're moving to resolution, somebody gotta pop off and start running their mouth and head the opposite direction from the middle ground that I'm trying to have you find. You say she's a great hairstylist. You've gone to her for years. You've invested so much in her and even helped her build this business. Now all of a sudden you're gonna fall out because she invaded your privacy. I don't think that you want to really end the relationship. I think you're hurt because of the invasion of privacy. All I'm saying to you is, right now, you think she owes you $8,000, but you could still potentially salvage this relationship, and so could you, Ms. West, if you were able to work out between the two of you how you could potentially make that right.
I agree with you, Your Honor.
She says you owe her $8,000. What could you potentially offer in this moment to say, listen, I feel terrible? It's obvious in the text. You immediately said, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I'll take it down right away.
Yeah, I feel bad. Like I said, I wasn't trying to do this maliciously.
So let's stop talking from polar opposite sides of the room. And for the $8,000 that she says she owes you that she lost in a brand deal, what could you do?
I mean, I can offer my services for free for a few months.
You could.
I could.
Judge Lake's verdict when We the People returns.
I feel like I already did compromise by just going with the contract that I lost as a result of this. And so my attempt at compromising and keeping the relationship, which is why I went to her one more time with that spirit, with that attitude, was, you know what, I'm not gonna go after her for the therapy or the emotional distress, even though
I mean, you've been going to therapy before that, so let's be real.
You want to expose more of my...
West, listen, I tried to help you. And that comment right there, the way you just outed her. See, this is where you go wrong. Because I was working to try to help her meet you in the middle so that potentially you all could resolve that. But just that very statement, you've been going to therapy even before that. I didn't know that. Sean didn't know that. Nobody in the gallery knew that. That was your attempt to out her, which is exactly what you did on that internet post, which even though you say it's not malicious, now you make me double and think again and double back and say, well, maybe she is.
I mean, well, I'm just not, I don't want her to blame me for going to therapy.
Something just happened. Did you feel what just happened, Sean?
I completely felt
I'm
it.
not trying to be blamed for
Judging for
therapy.
the plaintiff for $8,000. Pay, honey.
All rise.
Judge Lake has ruled in favor of the plaintiff. The defendant owes $8,000.
You lost out losing me.
You lost out losing me.
No, you're
look at your
replaceable.
hair. Look
You're
at your hair.
replaceable.
Look
There's
at your
other
hair.
hairstylists.
Okay, that's why your hair was falling out when you came to me.
Well, it looks like this won't be resolved here, so
It definitely ain't. You will
Follow
have to
me.
give that money back from me in blood, girl.
Judith Towns claims her credit rating was on the line after the father of her grandchild refused to pay his share of the rent. Tyler Young says his ex-girlfriend kicked him out of the apartment, so he shouldn't have to pay.
All rise. Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Lauren Lake presiding.
You may be seated.
Hello, Your Honor.
Hello. Thank you, Sean. Good day, everyone. Good day. This is the case of Towns versus Young. Ms. Towns, you are suing Mr. Young for $1,850 for the cost of a broken lease. Is that correct?
That is correct.
All right. And Mr. Young, you say that you never asked the plaintiff to be a co-signer.
Exactly.
All right. So let's start with you, Ms. Towns. What happened?
Well, first of all, let me start off by saying that yes, Tyler does owe me $1,850. I co-signed for both of them. My daughter here, who is his ex-girlfriend, and the mother of his child. I signed for both of them. So therefore, I feel entitled that he should be paying me back
All right.
the money.
So Mr. Young is your daughter's ex-boyfriend.
Ex-boyfriend.
And you co-signed a lease for them.
Sure did.
All right. And how much was this lease for?
The lease was $3,700.
Okay, a month.
I believe so, yes.
Okay, and so you co-signed because when they went to get the place, they couldn't approve.
No, they couldn't get approved, Your Honor, for the simple fact is, with the marketing going on right now, their age and the fact that they don't have bad credit, they have no credit. No credit. So I felt inclined to help my daughter get this place because she told me he wanted to marry her. So again, to help my daughter get some responsibility, Your Honor, because I'm gonna be straight up, I have overcompensated for my daughter. I played both mom and dad. She didn't have her father growing up, and so I have pampered her and turned her into the Princess Peach that she is. And so I figured, you know, she graduated from college. Very proud of her for that. Stayed in Washington, D.C. for a year, came back home, and into 6 months of her being back home, found this dude.
All right, so she met Mr. Young. They started a relationship.
Yes.
Were they in an ongoing relationship, a long-term relationship?
I would consider it long-term, given the fact that, you know, she's going to his house, he's coming over to mine. We're going out.
How long were they dating?
Oof, maybe about 6 months.
How long were you dating Mr. Young? Do you remember?
Probably like 8 months.
About 8 months.
Yeah.
And then you decided to move in together?
I mean, she was at the crib all the time, so.
What crib?
My crib. So prior to, you know, us getting the high rise, I was living in my own crib.
So you already had your own apartment?
I had my own spot.
No, tell her where you was really
All right,
living.
so what made you decide you wanted to go get a high-rise apartment?
No, her daughter decided that she wanted a high-rise apartment because she wanted to be a social media influencer. So it didn't fit the aesthetic that she wanted.
Oh, your apartment you had?
Yeah.
It was two bachelor pads.
I mean, but she was enjoying it when she was with me.
Okay,
But
but she didn't want to live in there.
Nah.
So you all decided to go get this high-rise apartment. And so you went to go look at it.
We went to go look at it.
How much was the rent on it?
The rent was about $3,700. We weren't getting approved on it without a cosigner. She spoils her daughter. That's the reason why she co-signed. She don't care about me.
So you all went to the apartment. It was more than you could afford together.
I could actually
Or that you could approve for.
Exactly. I have a great job. I just had started my job. I was getting paid good. I just didn't have
What
no
do you
credit.
do for a living?
I work in insurance. So I was taking care of I was going to take care of the bills. I could afford it.
You were going to pay the whole $3,700 a month by yourself?
Had been too.
Okay, so you did get the apartment because Ms. Towns, you co-signed.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so you co-signed, they move in, and the bills are getting paid.
The bills are getting paid, yes. Along with the bills getting paid, the drama is accumulating. The arguing, the fights. First of all, Your Honor, let me just be quite frank with you in front of him. I never really approved of the relationship. He is significantly older than my daughter. And while he's trying to make it seem like he's in some kind of bachelor pad, let's just break it down. He was in, it was horrible. The neighborhood where he lived, when I went over there, like there's nothing but an air mattress, maybe a table and a PS5. But
it was
again,
mine, right? It was mine.
It's yours.
It was mine,
it's
though,
yours.
right? Okay, I'm
but
just making
don't
sure.
make it seem.
She had no place.
Don't make it seem. She had a place. Home.
No, she was with me too.
Yeah, she was with
She
you.
was
but
enjoying
she
it.
All right,
with
let's
you.
get some order.
Okay.
Let's get some order.
Coming up.
He's cheating on you and he becomes verbally abusive.
Yeah,
the relationship goes
emotionally.
downhill that quick.
Yeah.
She's not telling her side.
So what's my
She's
side?
a social media influencer. She's out every night.
Closed captioning provided by. If you'll be in the Los Angeles area and want to bring your case to court, call 1-888-552-6878. You're watching We the People with Judge Lauren Lake. We're back with the case of Judith Towns, who brought her daughter's ex-boyfriend, Tyler Young, to court after he bailed on a lease she co-signed.
You didn't really approve of where Mr. Young was living.
No.
But you knew your daughter was going to be over there. What makes you co-sign for an apartment so your daughter can move in with a guy you don't approve of? Make that make sense, Ms. Towns.
Because he told me he was so enamored in love with my daughter, he wanted to marry her.
And you spoil her. Let's be clear.
That I did.
Well, it seemed like you're putting the cart before the horse, co-signing for a lease. If he want to marry her, let him make the financial and emotional commitment before you go co-sign for a lease.
Yeah, I thought about that as well. And the thing about it is, this is why I told her I would think about it. See, this is not something I just jumped on. See, this is about another month or two of them looking for places, and then, oh, Mom, are you going to do it? I found this over here. Oh, they said no.
No, she was.
So your daughter's coming back and saying, Mom, can you help us? Can you help us?
Can you help us? Because they have no credit in this market and day and age. You cannot get an apartment or anything without some kind of form of credit, some type of history.
Well, he got an apartment. It just wasn't the kind your daughter wanted to live in.
Yeah, but in the neighborhood that he lives in, a loaf of bread can probably get you in that apartment.
So you made the decision as a mother to co-sign.
To co-sign.
And now you're saying he owes you $1,850.
Yes, ma'am.
Why?
Because my daughter paid her $1,850. Half of the $3,700 that was owed. That puts me in my credit and good name. That I told them that when we signed.
But why wasn't I in an apartment? I got kicked out. I got kicked out of the apartment, though. Can you tell her that part?
I explained to them the significance of my credit and my name being on the forefront of this. I said in plain terms, give you the PG-13 version, but I said, do not screw me over on this. Did you not agree that you would not do that? Did you not agree that you would not do that? Because I ain't happy with her either.
All right, so you told them, I'm going to put my credit on the line. You all bet not mess this up.
Bet not.
And so, Mr. Young, you say you got kicked out?
I got kicked out.
Were you on the lease?
I was on the lease.
So how'd you get kicked out when you're on the lease?
When somebody don't want you back and they cut up all your sneakers and your clothes and tell you to go and never come back, you gotta go.
You're right. Hold on now, Ms. Towns. I want to hear from your daughter. Stand up, ma'am. State your name for the court.
My name is Ashley. Good morning, Your Honor. My name is Ashley.
Okay, Ashley, you cut up Mr. Young's clothes?
I did. And the reason why I did is because I found out he was cheating on me. Tyler's been cheating on me. So I guess I did take it to another level, and that's just because that's how I am sometimes. Again, as he said, I'm a spoiled brat, so I guess he utilized that as me being a spoiled brat. But besides him cheating on me, he has also been verbally abusive to me. So I did take my anger out on him.
So wait, this love of your life, you had to have your mama co-sign. You get in there only to figure out he's cheating on you and he becomes verbally abusive?
Yeah,
the relationship goes downhill that quick?
I mean, yeah.
She's not telling her side.
So what's my
She's
side?
a social media influencer. She's out every night. Like, she's not telling that she also cheated. Like, yeah, I cheated. I own that.
I cheated after you cheated on me.
It's not a contest.
Literally cheated on you after I found out your grandmother was never calling you.
But when you're never, don't worry about that. Like,
yeah, no, but I'm worried about that because that's the reason why I found out you were cheating.
He had it logged in as grandma.
Grandma. Listen, at 2 o'clock in the morning, grandma's calling the phone.
But she got dudes in her DM. It's going down in the DM.
They pay.
Okay, so hold on. So it got to be messy. So y'all did all that to live together. Then you start living together. You out because you an influencer.
High rise from hell. High rise from hell.
It was a high rise from hell.
I was cool with my little pad.
Before we moved into the new high-rise home, you actually lost your place and we got into the home with my mom. My mom was helping me do a lot of things because, of course, yes, I'm starting out to be a social media influencer, okay?
She never wanted us in that spot. She never wanted us in that spot.
But
she
you lost that
spoils
spot
her.
anyways.
Okay, but the bottom line was you all made it there because of your mother. Your mother helped you get the apartment. Y'all got the apartment and then fell off. You fell apart.
Facts.
You didn't like that she was out doing her social media influencing thing. You got girls calling you and you got them logged in as grandma.
That's what she said.
You laughing, bro. You laughing now, but it destroyed your relationship. When you say that there were people DMing her, what did you see in her DMs?
Listen, it was the blue checks. It was a lot of blue checks. You know what blue checks is, right?
Money.
That's
What are
verified.
you talking about? That's money.
Those are
and you're talking
verified
about
guys. I mean, NFL, like, they not really saying much because they blue check. They ain't got to say much.
But your girl said a lot when I answered the phone.
What's the difference? It was a blue check or no check if it's a guy?
And it was a check to go to our rent. Why he said it was a check to go to our rent,
I paid
our money, our bills.
Oh, you were getting money from these guys?
But she wasn't using it to pay the bills, though.
Influencer, when they like any product that you're doing, like if you're doing a product test or any samples, or so like I do things here and there on,
so wait,
on social media.
You just put stuff on the internet, and if somebody likes what you put up, then they go to your DMs.
I mean, like,
and they just send you money.
Like any typical person.
Ain't nobody sent me no money.
I mean, girl, I don't know why.
Obviously, we in the wrong business, Sean. All wrong. So it's men in your DMs, and you admit giving you money.
I mean, yeah, not always giving me money. Some of them just give me. Some of them give me attention, and it's not the attention that I feed into. You get what I'm saying? I feed into the ones that, are aiming towards my content because I'm on here for business. I'm not on here for pleasure.
Coming up.
She cut everything up, destroyed, bleach, everything. Like, she went crazy. So am I to blame for leaving? Like, you kicking me out.
So you leave, and then the next month you don't pay the rent, your half.
I'm now having to figure out I have to pay a new rent. I got to sleep on homie's couch.
We're back with the case of Judith Towns, who brought her daughter's ex-boyfriend, Tyler Young, to court after he bailed on a lease she co-signed.
What prompts the falling out? When you figure out that grandma really ain't grandma?
Yeah, and then on top of the abuse already, the toxic relationship that we already have. So on top of that, and then I find out this, and it's not the first time. It's the first time I heard a girl's voice.
So you tell him, get out.
Yeah.
Do you get out, Mr. Young?
I left. I had no choice. And it wasn't just get out. It was kick your out. Sorry, excuse my language.
I mean, I'm a girl. I'm a woman. I'm going to tell you get out because I need my space.
I had no clothes. She cut everything up, destroyed, bleach, everything. Like, she went crazy. So am I to blame for leaving? Like, you kicking me out.
So you leave, and then the next month you don't pay the rent, your half.
I'm now having to figure out I have to pay a new rent. I got to sleep on homie's couches. I'm couch surfing at this point. Swag surfing on couches at this point. So why should I have to pay your bills?
First of all, you used to that. Second of all, because it's still your bill.
Right.
You used to that.
You got all these women.
But your name is on the lease.
My name was on
the lease.
So
then because he didn't pay, and even though his name was on the lease, he didn't pay it, so you're saying, Ms. Towns, you had to pay that?
Yes, and not only did I have to pay, the way I found out that I had to pay and was going to be responsible is because notice number 1 and notice number 2 must have went to these two, and they never told me, never said nothing until notice number 3 came, the final notice, and that's what they give to the co-signer.
So it's either pay or they're going to get kicked out.
Oh, no, not only kicked out. Pay or get kicked out. How about my credit? My credit score, my good name, everything that verbal agreement, we're not going to screw her over.
So then you pay.
And then I pay.
Coming up.
I did know I was pregnant before he left, so that's another thing.
Did you know she was pregnant when you left?
No, because it ain't mine anyway, so.
We're back with the case of Judith Towns, who brought her daughter's ex-boyfriend, Tyler Young, to court after he bailed on a lease she co-signed.
During the 6 months we lived in the apartment, she never paid the rent at all. So.
But that was our agreement.
Because during the 6 months of you living together in the apartment, Mr. Manipulative, Mr. I'm older than her, so let me get a young chick so I can make her do what I want to do. She's having the responsibility of what? The cooking, the cleaning, the house
she didn't do
stuff,
none of
right?
that.
And I was pregnant.
You wanted to be out in the field,
All
and
right,
she's
so
doing this
when
pregnant.
Hold on. Did you know you were pregnant before he left?
I did know I was pregnant before he left, so that's another thing.
Did you know she was pregnant when you left?
No, because it ain't mine anyway, so, you know.
And that's another issue, Judge. So we're not doing this. I'm not paying $3,700 and then I'm sitting here paying the financial, the physical time and everything for my grandson.
Now you see what I'm talking about.
I'm not going to do this. Like I said, he's significantly older than her.
So now the baby's born.
Yes, and my baby's only 6 months.
And this is still going on.
Yes.
Where you all are broken up.
Yes. I haven't seen him in over a year.
I don't even want to see them now.
I haven't.
And so
your son.
But you haven't seen the child, Mr. Young?
I have no contact with them. I cut them off completely. Done.
But you've never seen the baby?
No, I don't even know what it looked like.
Looks just like
I'm sure it probably looked like somebody in her DMs.
It's not an it.
Yeah,
I'm sure it looked like it.
So your thing is, all these men in your DMs, one of them must be the father.
Gotta be.
At the end of the day, the problem is we have a question of paternity and we have a question as to whether or not you are owed the money.
Yes, ma'am.
The great news is that this court can resolve both of those questions today. We had both your daughter and Mr. Young undergo paternity testing.
Judge Lake's verdict when We the People returns.
In a case of Towns versus Young, as it relates to the minor child born to Ms. Towns.
Look, her mom.
It has been determined by this court.
Grandma's always watching him. That's
do you want the result or do you want to run your mouth? You came here to get answers. I have them. But if you're going to keep talking, I can go on to the next case and you can leave out of here in the same situation that you came. As it relates to the minor child born to Ms. Towns, it has been determined by this court, Mr. Young, you are the father.
Exactly. So I don't hear nothing else.
Hey up, Poppy.
Miss Towns.
See, look.
Miss
So
Towns,
hopefully we both be watching it. The kid, right?
Listen.
Not your mom, right?
Let's get some order.
You ain't even been here for a year.
Let's get some order.
You ain't even been here.
As it relates to the rent, you signed the lease. You agreed to pay half the rent. You shouldn't even have moved out, but you chose to. But you still owe the rent payable to Ms. Towns. Judgment for the plaintiff for $1,850. Court is adjourned.
Judge Lake has ruled in favor of the plaintiff. The defendant owes $1,850.
You haven't been here for a year.
The grandma watching the
You
kid.
have not been here for a year. That's not my grandma, that's my mom.
You finna watch him now.
Listen, that's
You
debatable.
finna watch him now.
Listen.
You're finna watch him now.
It looks like this is going to be continued, right?
Yeah.
To be continued.
Please follow me out.
Deborah Taylor claims her sister went behind her back when she took her teenage daughter to get a belly button piercing. Ava Brown says she stepped in because her niece was going to get the piercing from someone at school.
All rise. Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Lauren Lake presiding.
Please be seated.
Hello, Your Honor.
Hello. Thank you, Sean. Good day, everyone.
Good day.
This is the case of Taylor versus Brown. Ms. Taylor, you are suing Ms. Brown for $272 for medical expenses for your daughter. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And Ms. Brown, you say you were just protecting your niece, correct?
I was.
All right. So I'll start with you. Ms. Taylor,
Yes,
what
ma'am.
happened?
I'm Deborah Taylor. I am here because my wonderful sister, Ava Brown, decided to conspire with my daughter Sabrina and have a belly button piercing added at the mall.
Conspire is a strong word. So you think they got together and concocted a plan?
Well, they were at the mall, and according to Ava and according to Sabrina, she overheard a conversation that Sabrina had with her BFF that they were going to get a belly button piercing. So Ava told her that she has a friend that can do it, so that's what I mean by conspire.
Well, I want Ms. Brown to testify as to what she heard.
Okay.
But in terms of your position, did you give your daughter permission to get a piercing?
No, ma'am. I had no idea that they were doing it.
Were you contacted about it before
No,
they
ma'am.
did it?
I was not. My sister Ava was in town, so she wanted to take her to the mall, so I agreed. So I gave Sabrina $100 and I gave Ava $40 for gas for them to go to the mall. And I didn't find out till later about the piercing.
All right. Ms. Brown, I want to come to you. So you are Ms. Taylor's sister.
I am.
All right. So you were visiting your sister and your niece, and you're going to go to the mall. That's very normal. So when did you and Sabrina talk about getting a piercing?
So it started with me actually overhearing her and her friend discuss that they wanted to get piercings and that they were going to do it themselves. And so I pulled her to the side and, let her know that that was not the best thing to do and that I had somebody that could help.
Did you ever stop to say, I better let my sister know this?
I mean, I know my sister, and if she had to go around her back to even conspire to come up with this plan, I knew she wouldn't be okay with it. So
you knew that your sister would not agree to her daughter having a belly piercing?
I did. And I guess in trying to help the situation, because I knew she was going to get it regardless, I wanted to at least make sure it was safe.
So you thought you were intervening to protect your niece because you knew she was going to go do something she didn't have permission to do, but you wanted her to do it in the safest way possible.
Exactly.
So what was your role in the piercing?
Yeah, so like I said, I knew someone who has done it before in a professional sense, no longer has his license anymore. So I just had them do it for her, gave her all the
With
tips.
no license?
Well, he is not operating, put it that way.
Okay, is his license still active?
I believe so.
All right, and Ms. Taylor, you say you're suing your sister for medical expenses.
No, and a reimbursement.
Oh, so what happened? How did medical expenses get involved?
The medical expenses came about when I had to take Sabrina to urgent care.
Why did she have to go to urgent care?
Because she actually had a very high fever, and I asked her numerous times what was wrong with her. At first, I thought she had the flu, and she was really kind of sweaty, and her eyes were like really crazy looking. So I kept asking her like, what is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? Then she finally admitted that she had a piercing, and she actually showed it to me, and it was really, really bad. It was discolored. It was stuff going out of it. It was disgusting. Ugh. Yes, it was bad.
All right, I want to actually hear from your daughter.
Coming up.
Ms. Brown, your aunt said the person doesn't work in a shop anymore, so where were you?
We were in his home. Like we watched him unpack all the, the needles and the clamp and everything. Like everything looked clean.
And later.
You did not like the cut she gave you, Mr. Walker?
Not at all. Like I mentioned, I did ask for a California Surfer vibe. What they provided was more Oklahoma Roadhouse.
We're back with a dispute between Deborah Taylor and her sister Ava Brown over an infected belly button piercing.
I want to know, how long have you been thinking about getting a belly piercing before you actually did it?
I would say a couple of months. I only wanted it because me and my friends wanted to go for high school graduation. Like we wanted to have the piercing for graduation. And I knew because my friends were doing it, I didn't want to be the only one that didn't have one. And I knew if I told my mom that she wouldn't let me get it. So
you were also aware that your mother would have said no?
Yes.
So you planned to get this without your mother's consent?
Yes, ma'am.
And then how did you get to the point where you were able to confide in your aunt about it?
Me and my aunt are really close, and I know that I can talk to her about anything and she'll never ever be mad or judge me or yell at me like my mom does. So it wasn't that hard, and I told her, I was like, either you could take me or I'll go by myself. And she wanted to do the right thing and make sure I was safe, so she took me to her friend.
Ms. Brown, your aunt said the person doesn't work in a shop anymore, so where were you?
We were in his home. We watched him unpack all the, the needles and the clamp and everything. Like everything looked clean. So that's why I was confused as to why my belly button even got infected. I wasn't sure what I was doing wrong. And then, my mom eventually noticed that I wasn't feeling well. So she just kept pressuring me, what's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? And then I showed her, and she was, she freaked out. She's like, when did you get this? Why did you get this? Who took you? And I was just like, I don't know, because I know that they argue a lot, and I didn't want them to get into it, because my mom's honestly really hard on her. So, I came out anyway, and I told her, I was like, okay, me and Auntie Ava went, and we got the piercing by her friend. I don't know what happened, afterwards. Everything went cool with the piercing, but she wasn't even worried about that. She was just, well, oh my God, you got the piercing.
Mm-hmm. So once you heard that, Ms. Taylor, what were you thinking?
My feelings was hurt. I was upset. I was angry. And I immediately started texting Ava. And, of course, she wasn't responding.
I was busy at the time.
Busy.
So once you finally spoke with her, did you finally tell her your reasoning why you took her?
Yeah, I let her know. When we were younger, actually, we both got our belly button pierced, and it was her idea.
Business.
It was her idea, and so I've been on the sideline kind of watching how she's been operating with her daughter, and I just don't think it's fair, I wanted to be the scapegoat for her, and so
you wanted to be the cool auntie.
I had to be the supportive one at the time.
The only thing about a relationship like this is that when they confide in you about something that may, affect them negatively, right? Mm-hmm. Where they could potentially be hurt, I do believe there is a responsibility to involve the parent. And I think in this situation, I first thought, okay, well, maybe she was in your care. Well, she was in your care because you volunteered, you assumed the responsibility to go with her to this appointment and directed her to a certain person. And that person, you admit it, no longer worked steadily and in this business. So in many ways, Ms. Brown, this is your responsibility. But that does not in any way, Sabrina, young Miss Taylor, take you out of it. Because as a young woman, you knew that you could not get a piercing without your mom's consent. Did you sign off on this too, Ms. Brown? Or because the guy wasn't even working in a shop, you didn't even have to do the paperwork because she's technically not supposed to get a piercing between, I think, 14 and 18 without parental signed consent.
No, actually at the time we just bought everything. Like she said, we opened it up fresh and took care of it there. We didn't sign any
And
kind
then
of waivers.
she ended up at urgent care. And these are the very reasons why these particular laws and rules for minors especially have been enacted to protect them. Ms. Taylor, do you have any receipts from the urgent care when you took your daughter?
Yes,
May I see
ma'am.
them, please? I hope it ain't no pictures of this belly button.
No,
in
it's
there.
no pictures in there.
Just a thought.
I thought about it though.
Just a thought. I can just.
She did it because
Nothing like something that's infected. So, ugh. All right, here we are, $132 that you paid for the antibiotics, the ointment, the doctor's appointment. So, Ms. Brown, do you have any evidence you'd like to present to court before I give my ruling?
I do not.
All right. I think there was a part of you that wanted to do the right thing, Ms. Brown, and you wanted to protect your niece. Look where we ended up with a child that was harmed, and I'll be clear, you were lucky because sometimes these infections can travel, and next thing you know, you end up in the hospital. All right. Judgment for the plaintiff for $272, the cost of the medical expenses, and the return of the $140 she gave you all to go to the mall because y'all never went. Wish you the best of luck. Court is adjourned.
Judge Lake has ruled in favor of the plaintiff. The defendant owes $412.
Oh, now you smiling.
Coming up.
A qualified educator, I see that.
Exactly. And in this instance, Miss Sally Baxter stepped out of the picture completely. She had somebody else she wanted to attend to.
This says your stylist beauty school. This is a beauty college. You went to a beauty college for.
Noah Walker claims his hair was butchered by a trainee at the salon when all he wanted was a hip surfer cut. Sally Baxter says clients agree to allow her students to perform the services, and he got what he paid for.
Good day, everyone.
Good day.
Good day. This is the case of Walker versus Baxter. Mr. Walker, you are suing Ms. Baxter for $775, the cost of a bad haircut. Is that correct?
Yes.
And Ms. Baxter, you say you gave him exactly what he wanted.
That is correct.
All right. I'd like to hear from you first, plaintiff. Mr. Walker, you went to Ms. Baxter for a haircut?
Correct.
Was she your regular stylist, or did you find her?
I found her online. I was new in town, and I needed a new haircut for this new job I was about to begin, and she was the only one who could take me in such short notice.
When you came in, did you tell her the kind of haircut you wanted?
I did. I used a picture of styling. I was very descriptive with words. I told her I wanted a, California surfer kind of vibe, and it's not what I got.
So, do you remember, Ms. Baxter, Mr. Walker coming in and saying, I wanted a California surfer vibe?
From what I recall, Your Honor, he actually came in not 100% sure what he wanted, so we did take some time to look through magazine references.
All right, so you described to her what you wanted, you looked at several pictures, and then you cut his hair.
That is correct, yes.
All right, so you did not like the cut she gave you, Mr. Walker?
Not at all. Like I mentioned, I did ask for a California surfer vibe. What they provided was more Oklahoma Roadhouse, not even in the same vicinity.
Coming up.
Were you Ms. Baxter's assistant or student during the time when Mr. Walker was getting his hair cut?
Yes.
We're back with the case of Noah Walker, who brought Sally Baxter to court over a bad haircut.
Well, this picture I'm looking at, I don't know how to describe this haircut, but it's definitely not giving me California surfer vibe.
Based on all of the various reference photos we were looking at, he did want something that was more textured, a little bit shorter.
The issue, Your Honor, is that I did go to her and she started styling my hair. It was going well. She seemed like a very confident stylist. And what happened is halfway through, she handed the reins over to her student, assistant, stylist, and that's where it just went downhill from there.
Oh, you had someone working with you.
Yeah. No, I run a beauty school, so part of what I do is train more hair professionals to do what I do. I've been doing this for several years now. I am confident in
And
my
so in the middle of a cut on a new client, you decided to turn it over to your apprentice?
Yeah, so it's actually on our website. We do, like, we're very transparent
May
about
I see that, please?
Yes.
It is stated on the website, Your Honor, that sometimes the job is handed over to a student, but it says so that it's handled under the supervision or guidance of a more experienced instructor.
A qualified educator, I see that.
Exactly, and in this instance, Miss Sally Baxter stepped out of the picture completely. She had somebody else she wanted to attend to.
This says your stylist beauty school. This is a beauty college. You went to a beauty college for a haircut?
Correct.
Miss Baxter, you've brought a witness?
Yes, I did.
I'd like to hear from your witness.
Judge Lake's verdict when We the People returns.
State your name for the court.
Hello, Your Honor. My name is Jackie Nash.
Ms. Nash, were you Ms. Baxter's assistant or student during the time when Mr. Walker was getting his hair cut?
Yes.
Did you work on Mr. Walker's hair?
Yes.
And what was your understanding as to what type of style he wanted?
I was present at the very beginning of the process of the haircut, and he wasn't quite sure what he wanted, but he wanted something layered.
And you never heard California Surfer?
No.
So you get this haircut, and then what happens?
And then it wasn't up until I got home, I looked in the mirror, in the same mirror that I'm used to looking in, and I was like, this is not me.
And you had regret?
Yes.
All right, well, I'm glad you testified to that, because I don't know if anybody is exempt from regretting a haircut. Okay.
I did have to purchase a wig to cover up that terrible mess they made.
I'm done hearing testimony. The problem with your testimony thus far, Mr. Walker, is you went home, lived with it for a second, and then realized, oh boy, this is not flattering. This is not what I wanted, and I don't like it. We've all been there, where we had to make do until it grew out again. Welcome to the club. Unfortunately, you are not entitled to collect on the haircut, on the reimbursement. Judgment for the defendant. Plaintiff's claim is dismissed. Court is adjourned.
Judge Lake has ruled in favor of the defendant. The plaintiff's case has been dismissed.
I think you should get better hairstylists and stop advertising on your website that you are professionals and handing on the job over to people who aren't qualified to make those decisions. So
They're students, they're not children.
Ashley and Katrina Marshall claimed they enlisted their friend to get them both pregnant, but now he refuses to pay for the gender reveal party. Robert Pham says he won't pay up until a DNA test proves that he's the dad.
All rise. Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Lauren Lake presiding.
Please be seated.
Hello, Your Honor.
Hello, thank you, Sean. Good day, everyone.
Good day.
This is the case of Marshall versus Pham. The Marshalls are suing Mr. Pham for $5,000 for the cost of a gender reveal party. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
And Mr. Pham, you say you're not the father, so you don't owe them anything.
That's correct.
Okay, well, this sounds interesting. Let's begin with the plaintiffs. So you say he owes you the cost of the gender reveal party you were having for a baby you're expecting.
Yes, that's
Tell
correct,
the court
Your
what
Honor.
happened.
Yeah, so we had an agreement with Robert that he would be the father to both of our babies. You know, this is my wife. We are married. We have always wanted a family. It's very important to us that the children are related. So unfortunately, the only way to do that is if they have the same father. And he made an agreement, his idea, that he would be the father to both those babies because, you know, everything's so expensive. And artificial insemination, sperm donor, it's like so expensive. And yeah.
So wait, he said, he made this up. Mr. Pham, you also wanted to have children?
I did.
You all know each other and been friends?
Yes.
About 12 years since college.
Okay, so you've known each other since college?
Yes.
You also wanted to be a dad, Mr. Pham.
Yes.
Did you make up the idea that, hey, I'll father your children, that way they'll be siblings, half siblings, siblings nonetheless?
Well, initially I was pretty hesitant about helping them get pregnant, but because I've known them for so long, we were really good friends.
So wait, they say you asked them. Did they ask you or you asked them?
They initially came to me, but we agreed upon it together.
Okay, that's your side, I understand. So you were reluctant at first, but then you agreed.
That's correct.
Why did you agree?
Well, I've known these people for 10 years. We were really good friends. We spent a lot of time together. They make a beautiful couple, and they're beautiful people. And, you know, they're unable to have this kid on their own. And so I agreed to help them with that.
All right.
Out of the kindness of my own heart.
So he consented, and you all started the process?
Yes. Yes. We slept together.
Yes. Oh, okay. So you all did the old-fashioned way?
Yep. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Saved on costs?
Yep. Saved on costs.
Okay.
Yes,
Got it. Got it. Just use the parts that we got.
Yeah, precisely.
Okay. Got it. So both of you, or who got pregnant?
We both are. We're both pregnant. Yeah.
Oh, right now?
Yes,
Correct.
right now. Right now, Your Honor. We are both expecting.
Yes. Oh, this is good. Okay.
Yeah.
So you're both pregnant right now by Mr. Pham?
Yes.
Correct. And so were the genders revealed?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, what are we having?
I'm having a girl.
Yes. And
I'm having a boy.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So we've got girl and boy. Oh, you all did really well.
I know,
girl
right?
And boy.
That's what I'm saying. We
got it done. All right. So we got girl and boy. And why is there an issue? I thought we're all happy. This means the plan worked. Why are you suing him for the cost of the party? He agreed to pay for it?
He agreed to pay for it and
is now refusing. Yes, so at the party, it was at a restaurant that we rented out for $5,000. We invited our family, our friends, exes in relationships, because we invited the exes that we're still on good terms with. You know, we're all civil, we're all friends.
Yeah, that's big.
This is an adult relationship.
Yes,
we're very secure
we're
in
all,
our commitment.
Yeah, and one of those exes happens to be my ex-husband from a handful of years ago.
Okay.
Yes.
More the merrier.
And we are on civil, positive terms.
Yeah.
And at some point during the party at the restaurant, I was speaking with Kevin, my ex-husband, outside of the restaurant, and Robert came up and saw us speaking and seemed to think that something was two ways going along romantically, consensually, and he thinks that he is now not the father of the child that I'm carrying.
Oh.
Coming up.
It looked like they were having intercourse with clothes on.
What?
And on top of that, when they didn't think that anyone noticed, I saw both of them go to the side of the restaurant, exchange kisses, fondling with each other, doing God knows what else. And so that's when I approached them.
Did y'all have liquor at this gender reveal?
I was sober, Your Honor.
Kevin
I was sober.
drunk. We were, of course, not drinking.
Of course we were sober.
But Robert had been drinking.
Back with a dispute between Ashley and Katrina Marshall and their friend Robert Pham over gender reveal party costs.
So let him tell that part of the story, because I do want to hear from you, Mr. Pham. So you're at the gender reveal party?
That's correct.
The one you agreed to pay for?
Yes, under the terms that they were my kids.
Okay, well, that's understandable. What is it about her interaction with her ex that made you just fly off the handle and decide, I'm not paying?
Well, she's saying they were speaking outside, Your Honor. I believe they were doing a lot more than just speaking outside.
Oh.
As a matter of fact.
What did you see?
Well, there was a couple things. Initially, I saw them dancing very intimately on the dance floor. And when I say intimately, I mean it looked like they were having intercourse with clothes on.
What?
And on top of that, when they didn't think that anyone noticed, I saw both of them go to the side of the restaurant, exchange kisses, fondling with each other, doing God knows what else. And so that's when I approached them.
Did y'all have liquor at this gender reveal?
I was sober, Your Honor.
Kevin
I was sober.
drunk. We were, of course, not drinking.
Of course we were sober.
But Robert had been drinking, and as had Kevin.
It was open bar?
Yes.
Yes.
So, Your Honor, I went up to them and confronted them about the situation, and that's when she was actually defending her ex-husband, talking about how he was so much better in bed and all of this crazy nonsense. It was just bizarre.
But see, she was pregnant, so she said she didn't have a drink. Because, you know, sometimes they say a drunk person's words are a sober person's thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
But they weren't drinking. So she started telling you how the ex-husband was better in bed than you?
That's correct.
Were you saying that, Ms. Marshall?
I was not. And
Oh, he's making all of this up.
The interaction between Kevin and I on the side of the restaurant, from untrained eyes, looked suggestive. Kevin was drunk. He was happy for us that we are having a family, and he was getting a little affectionate, maybe overly affectionate, and I didn't want to cause a scene. I knew that he was happy for me, so I went along with it.
So he was like hugging you, and I'm so happy for you, but being a little bit too handsy.
Yes, and I knew he means well. It was not any kind of anything like that.
You weren't offended by it. You just felt like it was somebody that had had a few too many to drink and that was very familiar with you.
Yes,
So
Your
they
Honor.
were kind of overstepping the personal boundaries.
Yes, and I didn't want to make a scene at this party, so it was all fair game.
So when Mr. Pham confronted you like, well, wait, if you like this with your ex, I don't know if this baby is mine or not. What did you say?
Again, I was not making a scene, trying to mitigate the situation. Like, it's all good. There's nothing problem happening here. I don't know what he's talking about you are so much better in bed than I am.
Let me ask you something. Were you drinking? Like, do you think your judgment was impaired a little bit? Maybe you were just being a little paranoid.
I don't
or
drink,
extra.
Your Honor.
You don't drink at all. You sober. You saw what you saw.
I saw what I saw.
What did
And
you see?
I saw hands going in places where they shouldn't have been going.
Okay, Robert. Okay.
Lips making connections with necks. And it was just a situation that shouldn't have happened. It just was.
So once you confronted her and she said, listen, it's nothing. Like, he's had some drinks. I'm fine. There's nothing. I'm not. That did not ease your doubt?
Not at all, Your Honor. I know Ashley. I've known her for 10 years, and there was a look in her eyes that let me know that there was something much more going on with her and her ex-husband. And you know what? His ex-husband even looked at me. Her ex-husband even looked at me and told me that they wanted him initially to be the father.
Oh.
And that was another red flag.
So he said, So he was like, listen, they wanted me to be the father at first, but I didn't want to do it, so now you're doing it.
That's correct, Your Honor.
And now you have doubt.
And now I have
About
doubt.
just Ashley's baby or Katrina's as well?
At the very least, Ashley's baby. And I don't know if Katrina seems to be completely content and enabling this whole situation. So
Robert,
if she's cool with that,
you know that that's
it makes
a
me
reach.
question whether
That
or
is
not
such
she's
a reach.
also having sex with
You know
other
what? We
men.
are in a committed adult relationship.
Oh, I just had a light bulb. So are you feeling like they may have been having sex with her ex and you because their intent was to make sure they conceived? So maybe he was a part of this too, and whoever gets us pregnant first, we're pregnant.
That's correct, Your Honor. And if I'm going to be
You think
paying,
that was the plan?
from what they told me, that wasn't supposed to be the plan. From what they told me, I was supposed to be the father.
Correct.
And if I'm
you
supposed
are.
to be the one
because
paying,
then they wouldn't be siblings because one of you could have gotten,
Correct. Yes.
But your point was maybe they had tried this previously with him, and now they're trying it with me, and now you have doubt.
That's correct.
Coming up,
So before we get to the ruling on the gender reveal party and the costs associated with it, I think it's important that we get the paternity results. My staff did have you submit to DNA testing, and I have the results.
we're back with a dispute between Ashley and Katrina Marshall and their friend Robert Pham over gender reveal party costs.
And so at the end of the day, once you felt like you didn't know if the babies were yours, you were like, I'm not paying for this shower.
yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
I mean, it is clear that the reason why you would agree to pay for their gender reveal is to reveal the gender of babies you thought were yours. So I'm going to agree to pay for this $5,000, have a big party, let's have a big celebration because you think you're the dad. Then you see this intimate moment and you start thinking and you're like, hold on, before I drop $5,000, I want to make sure these kids are mine.
That's right.
And it seems reasonable under the circumstances, even though we don't know if you're overreacting or not. But I'll tell you one thing about a paternity doubt. it never minimizes, it only maximizes. I've been doing this a long time. I've rarely seen paternity doubt minimized to where someone just says, okay. It usually just keeps festering and festering until you know for sure. So before we get to the ruling on the gender reveal party and the costs associated with it, I think it's important that we get the paternity results. My staff did have you submit to DNA testing, and I have the results. As it relates to the child, the unborn child of Katrina Marshall, it has been determined by this court, Mr. Pham, you are the father. You are the father.
One of two.
Oh, you don't need to make comments like that.
Coming up.
You know that you're the father. You know that you're the father. You were there. We're
gonna find out.
We slept together.
We're gonna find out.
Okay.
Closed captioning provided by. You're watching We the People with Judge Lauren Lake. We're back with a dispute between Ashley and Katrina Marshall and their friend Robert Pham over gender reveal party costs.
So you're serious about this? You have that much doubt?
Well, it was Ashley.
I got it. Mm-hmm. Well, we have that result as well.
You know what, Robert? You know that you're the father. You know that you're the father. You were there. We're
gonna find out.
We slept together.
We're gonna find out.
Okay.
As it relates to the unborn child of Ashley Marshall, it has been determined by this court, Mr. Pham, you are not the father.
I knew it. And you try to have me pay for it.
He's not the father. Ms. Marshall?
I don't even know what to say. So you've been lying to me this entire time, Ashley?
I have not been lying to you.
Oh, obviously you have. You said it was just a kiss.
Oh, it was a kiss? Well, I guess it was more than that.
We'll talk about this later.
So
I can't believe you would humiliate me like this in a courtroom.
We'll talk about this later.
I absolutely cannot believe this.
So, Ms. Marshall, are you ready to admit something that perhaps you weren't ready to admit before these paternity results? Because I will always say this. Plaintiffs may lie and defendants may lie, but the DNA, it never lies.
Yes. I did have relations with my ex-husband before the contract was drawn up.
Before the contract was drawn up with Mr. Pham?
Correct.
Oh, before.
Your Honor.
What about the agreement between us? Huh?
We'll talk about it later.
Oh, okay. You don't want to do it here.
No.
The children now will both have different fathers. That wasn't your original plan.
No, it was not our original plan, Your Honor.
And yet, you still have two beautiful children coming into this world. You're very blessed. The question now becomes the $5,000 for the gender reveal party. Do you expect Mr. Pham to put on a gender reveal party for a baby that's not his?
No. I don't.
No.
I don't think that's fair.
All right. Well, the judgment is simple then. Mr. Pham, you've got one baby. You agreed to pay for the gender reveal party for the children who would be yours. And so therefore, judgment for the plaintiff for $2,500. I wish you all the very best of luck. You guys got a lot of mess to sort out, because the thing about it, when you bring children into the world, now you have a responsibility to figure out how to co-parent with all of these folks that are involved. Court is adjourned.
Thank you,
Your Honor.
All rise.
Judge Lake has ruled in favor of the co-plaintiffs. The defendant owes $2,500.
I'm sorry. I should have believed you. I'm stunned. I'm humiliated. I can't believe you brought us to court and
I
did
still
this.
want to be in my baby's life, and I'm just glad that this is over and it's all figured out.
Bart Tanner claims his neighbor maliciously trapped his cats and took them to the pound. Lydia Perry claims the neglected cats are feral.
All rise. Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Lauren Lake presiding.
Please be seated.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning. Thank you, Sean. Good day, everyone. Good day. This is the case of Tanner versus Perry. Mr. Tanner, you are suing Ms. Perry for $1,200. The costs you say are associated with the adoption and sterilization fees you had to pay for your own cats?
Yes, Your Honor.
Explain.
This woman, who is my neighbor, she thinks she can run the neighborhood. She literally took my cats, the cats I love, the cats, these are my family members, Your Honor, and she took my cats, she captured them. She literally trapped them and took them to the pound. When I broke my leg, my girlfriend brought me a cat. I wouldn't be here today if I didn't have that cat.
All right, and how did that cat turn into cats?
I adopted Joshua for Rolo so that they could be together, and then Rolo passed away right about when my girlfriend left me, Heather, and so I went and got another cat and adopted Jan so that Joshua would have a friend.
So Jan and Joshua got along really well.
They were pretty close.
All right,
Your
so
Honor.
and from Jan and Joshua came more cats.
Yeah, a pride of cats, Your Honor. They're my family. I was happy to have them. I had no problem with my cats.
And so how does this issue then affect your neighbor?
She's afraid of the cats. They hurt. There's nothing wrong with my cats. She's the problem.
How
she thinks she gets to control everything.
Affect you, Miss Perry?
Your Honor, this man is insane in the membrane. I have lived across the street 5 years now, and at first I thought it was cool that he had cats. I'm a pet lover. I love cats. I love dogs, all sorts of animals. I have a daughter, Lucy, and Lucy is close friends with our neighbor, Devontae. And we thought it cool that Mr. Tanner had nice cats. We love cats. But a little time has gone by, and all of a sudden we've gone up from 1, 2 cats to a dozen. It's like a menagerie of beasts. And Josh,
wow, that's a strong statement.
It is, because these are beasts. They're feral cats.
No, they're not. There's
They're
nothing wrong with my
cats.
cats. No, you're the one. You're trapping my cats.
No,
You're chasing them down.
Mange.
There's nothing wrong with them. They don't have mange.
All right, let's get some order. So tell me, I should have asked you what kind of cats they are.
Well, they're just your average tabby mix. They're just
average tabby mix. Average tabby mix of virus.
There's a black cat and I have a tabby, and those two made a bunch of other cats together. I don't.
All right, so Miss Perry, you live across the street.
I do.
So how is it that your property is being affected by these cats?
These cats are everywhere.
No, they're not.
In your property alone or all over the neighborhood?
They're all over the neighborhood. He only keeps Rolo and Joshua inside the home.
They are my family, and you put my family in jail.
You're putting my family in danger.
You're
endangering the neighborhood.
She put them in the
okay,
pound,
hold on.
and they're not hers.
Bit Devontae.
Let's get some order. Order in the court. Now, you say she put your cats in jail?
She literally trapped my cats, Your Honor.
What does that mean?
She put them in a box. She lured them in.
I had the Humane Society come and do an inspection because your cats
That was after that. The
everywhere.
Humane Society came to my house and they interviewed me. They checked on my cats and they said there's no problem. They let me know that she made a complaint.
Cats.
I
they
didn't
weren't even
hide
home when you were there.
And
you
so, hold on, Mr. Tanner. Is it true that you only keep 2 of your cats in the home with you?
No, I have a cat door. My cats can come and go as they please because they are free animals and they are happy that way. People who trap their cats in their house, then you have upset, mad, miserable cats. I have happy cats, and she's lying, Your Honor.
You have miserable cats. They're full
I
of
have a
mange.
miserable neighbor who's out of her mind. That's all
let's
I have.
hold on. Let's not get out of hand.
Coming up.
What are the cats doing?
Whenever we have playtime activities or we play a little football or toss ball on the lawn, the cats will attack.
And later.
I had consumed a biscuit that she had prepared, and it cracked and split my molar
right in half.
A biscuit cracked
Yes.
a molar?
Yes.
We're back with neighbors Bart Tanner and Lydia Perry, who are fighting over cat adoption fees.
You all getting a little bit out of pocket.
Sorry.
And this is a courtroom, not a circus, so we're gonna calm down. I wanna understand from you, what is your experience living across the street from Mr. Tanner's home with his cats? What were you witnessing and experiencing on your property?
What's happening on my property is that these cats are all over my property. The feral cats.
How many have you seen at one time?
I've seen anywhere from a dozen to 15 cats.
What are the cats doing?
The cats are defecating on my lawn. Whenever we have playtime activities or we play a little football or toss ball on the lawn, the cats will attack.
And so when you had this issue, did you walk over and try to have a conversation with Mr. Tanner? Did you send him an email? What did you do?
I did, Your Honor. I was actually friends with Mr. Tanner's ex-girlfriend. We worked at the same firm. He became a different person after she left. And so I went over with Lucy and Devontae. So what I told Mr. Tanner is that the cats need to be washed. They need to be cleaned. They need to be given their shots. And they need to be spayed and neutered.
Do you have any evidence of what the cats were doing in your neighborhood, on your property?
I do. I have pictures.
Can I please see them? Thank you, Sean. All right, so these are the cats. So we've got cats on the car, cats on the side of the house. These are just 2 cats. Do you have pictures of the 10 to 15 cats you described?
Not with me today, Your Honor.
So you came to court to complain about the cats and say that you had to do what you needed to do to get rid of them, but you don't have any evidence that they were there.
I did not want to get close to these feral beasts, close enough to take pictures of them, no.
All right, Mr. Tanner, what happened?
So, first of all, I didn't know what was happening, but my cats were disappearing. And I do have a lot of cats. I panicked. I went out and I got a door camera and I put it up. And that's when I discovered that she was literally hunting down my cats and stealing them so she could take them to the pound.
How would you say she was hunting them down, Mr. Tanner?
Well, she was setting traps. She would take a cat carrier, and then she put catnip in the cat carrier and maybe some food, I presume. And then the cats would go to that, and then she would come up and close it and take them
Were you
to her
doing
car.
that, Miss Perry?
I was.
And why?
He's been neglecting these animals.
I care for my cats.
You've been neglecting
look at this.
them. You
I
treat
bought-
them
look
like
at this.
property.
Your Honor, let me tell you something right now,
they're
Your
full
Honor.
of
This toy,
mange.
prior to her taking Miles in to the pound, loved that toy.
Listen. So you're saying the cats were captured, and then what, you went to get them back?
I had to go pick them up,
And
I
what
literally
happened?
had to pay money to get them back. And she caused them to sterilize my cats, Your Honor. I had to pay money. I had to pay money for the adoption fee for my own cats,
It's
which is
spaying and
insane.
neutered. You have to spay and neuter
No, you
feral
don't.
cats.
Cats are free animals to live the way they
Mr.
should.
Tanner, direct your testimony to me.
It's not her decision whether or not my cats should be spayed, excuse me, Your Honor, or neutered. I have
All right,
allergies.
what evidence do you have?
So this is
Please turn in the evidence. Let me see what you have. This is the receipt. 7 cats and 7 sterilization fees. You also brought a video.
Yes.
I'd like to see that. What does this video show?
This
Mr.
is
Tanner?
Miles prior to going to the pound, where he was absolutely terrified when he came home. The next video is what he's like after I brought him home from the pound. This is what she did to my cat, Your Honor. She's broken Miles. He's afraid of everything. He used to be the fun, amazing, joyful cat. Just spending a few days in the pound turned him into this.
Your Honor, he was filthy before we brought him into the Humane Society.
And now he's fearful of the toy.
And everything.
He's afraid of you.
Your testimony is that he was traumatized by this experience.
He was ruined. He's absolutely devastated after spending a few days in the pound and they cut off his stuff, Your Honor. It's not her job to make sure my cat doesn't have testicles.
I've heard enough. This is an interesting issue because Again, knowing the nature of cats, no, they do not like to be contained. They operate differently from dogs. But the problem is, Mr. Tanner, having them roam all the way through the neighborhood and constantly be in other people's yards is problematic. Just because you love to see your cats roam and be free and enjoy their life doesn't mean that another person wants your animals in their yard roaming free, defecating, sitting on top of the car. That is a problem. And it is your responsibility to keep the cat safe. I do think Ms. Perry felt like she had no other recourse, and it is for that reason it has been the determination of this court that the judgment will be for the defendant. Court is adjourned.
Judge Lake has ruled in favor of the defendant. The plaintiff's case is dismissed.
The pride cometh before the fall.
What the hell are you talking about?
You're just out of your mind.
Get off the catnip, bro.
You're a psycho.
You may exit the courtroom now.
Coming up.
There is no way I'm responsible for what happened to Mr. Leem's tooth because he was eating other food from the festival as well. And they were smoking weed and being rowdy.
Liam Johnson claims he cracked his tooth while eating a vegan biscuit from a food stand at a music festival. Cynthia Smith claims the plaintiff was rowdy, high, and is just seeking a large payday.
Good day, everyone. Good day. Mr. Johnson, you're suing Ms. Smith for personal injury damages. You say you sustained while eating some of her food?
Yes, Your Honor.
And you're suing in the amount of $4,500 today.
Yes.
Tell me what happened.
During my 25th birthday celebration, some friends and I had visited the Alabama Music Blues Festival. We were looking for something to eat that was vegan. We passed by Mrs. Smith's vendor stand, and while eating that food, I had consumed a biscuit that she had prepared, and it cracked and split my molar right in half.
A biscuit cracked a molar?
Yes. At the time, there were some drinks consumed, so it did not feel as worse as it later would have felt.
Was this like a food truck?
Yes, it was.
All right, so did you go back over to the food truck?
Yes, only to find that there was just a huge line wrapped around the corner. So in order to not stop the festivities, I knew I couldn't speak with her immediately, so I went with my friends onto the next show so that we could, keep my birthday celebration rolling.
Ms. Smith, do you remember Mr. Johnson buying the biscuit, the vegan biscuit and gravy from your food truck?
It's not my food truck, so let me rephrase that. I was working there on this particular day.
All right, so you don't own the food truck?
I do not own the food truck, but I was there working, and I was serving my, very famous biscuits and gravies like I do. I make sure that everything is clean. And when I'm shifting the flour, I check it very carefully.
Do you work alone?
I work alone.
So there was no one else
There's no one there. There's no one involved. I shift the flour carefully, as I mentioned, to make sure there is no foreign objects.
Are you baking the biscuits?
I'm baking them right there on the food truck.
Ah, okay.
Coming up.
No telling what he was eating on. You get the munchies when you smoke
Your
weed.
Honor,
So
were you smoking weed, Mr. Johnson?
No. Only drinks.
We're back with the case of Liam Johnson, who blames Chef Cynthia Smith for his broken tooth.
So it is your testimony that there is no possible way that anything hard could have been.
There is no way I'm responsible for what happened to Mr. Leem's tooth because he was eating other food from the festival as well. And I seen it because they sit very close to my stand and they were smoking weed and being rowdy and being loud.
You say for a fact you saw him indulging in other foods as well.
Exactly. And there are other foods there that can cause your tooth to be cracked.
Well, I hope no food caused your molar to be broken, but
I don't know the way
Mr.
this young
Johnson,
man take care of his teeth.
Did you eat from any other food stand?
Your Honor, what she calls rowdy?
First of all, I asked you a question, so talk to me.
No, Your Honor, I did not.
You get the munchies when you smoke
Your
weed.
Honor,
So
were you smoking weed, Mr. Johnson?
No, only drinks.
Perhaps that tooth was cracked unbeknownst to you. And when you bit down on the food, the way you went to chew, then broke your tooth. Did you bring any evidence at all?
I actually did.
All right, let me see that. Sean, will you bring that to me, please?
Right here, the doctor's reference. It's the second line from the bottom.
The dentist told me that I would have had to bite down on something or a hard object to cause such a deep crack in the crown and split the remaining tooth that I would need an extraction and dental implant. Okay, number one, this is what the dentist said. Do you have where the dentist put that in writing?
At the moment, I don't.
This is what you said. I want to know what the dentist said.
I wasn't able to retrieve that document.
How were you not able to retrieve the document when you have a suit for $4,500 and you know you're going to say and base your entire suit on what the dentist said?
Judge Lake's verdict when We the People returns.
Now, you also had drinks, I presume on a hot day.
And marijuana.
They might have had ice in them. Did you chew any ice? We don't know what you ate that day, and the problem is, even if the dentist wrote it and said, this tooth, and you had evidence that said this tooth could not have been broken but for him biting on something, when was it? Was it at your breakfast? Was it at your lunch? Was it at the fair? Was this tooth already broken before because of something else you ate, and then when you bit down on this biscuit, then it broke? Just face the facts that unfortunately, this is terrible, and I hate that you had this happen to you. A broken tooth is no fun, but you just haven't proved your case, sir. Therefore, it has been determined by this court, judgment for the defendant. Court is adjourned.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All rise. Judge Lake has ruled in favor of the defendant. The plaintiff's case is dismissed. Ken Richardson claims his film shut down after his lead actress caused delays and failed to show up on set. Angelica Jones claims the plaintiff made her feel uncomfortable and is countersuing for $4,000.
All rise. Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Lauren Lake presiding.
Please be seated.
Good morning, Your
Good
Honor.
morning. Good day, everyone.
Good day.
This is the case of Richardson versus Jones. Mr. Richardson, you are suing Ms. Jones for damages. You say she owes you $3,000 due to breach of contract over a film you were making.
Yes, Your
What
Honor.
happened?
So we had met initially at an acting class. Got to be friends, and I kind of helped her work on her acting technique. And it came to the point where I had her audition for this first feature film I'd been directing. First-time filmmaker, non-union, and I had put my entire life savings and maxed out my credit cards for this project. And I was really determined to get it done no matter what, because I had a lot riding on it. Filming starts, and she shows up the first day, and she causes some delays because she can't really remember her lines. And then I try to talk to her about her performance a little bit, and she kind of just stomps away back to her trailer, refuses to come out. And then on the third day, she just didn't show up at all. And we had to just call an audible and quit filming for the day and wrap up the project, and it's still unfinished, and it's quite a problem for me.
And you say it's unfinished because she did not perform per the contract.
Correct, she was the lead.
And now, Ms. Jones, you also have a counterclaim.
Yes.
Against Mr. Richardson.
That's correct.
For $4,000.
Yes.
Explain to me the damages you say you incurred.
Well, you know, being here at this moment is costing me time from work. And I invested acting classes for a role that I was promised and not given.
How much did you spend on the acting classes?
Like everything around $1,000.
About $1,000?
And that's not even covering what I've missed from bartending at night.
And the other $3,000 presumably is your pay?
Yes, yes.
All right. $1,000 for the acting classes, and then $3,000 for the acting role that you say you performed?
Yes, to the best of my
ability. Did you know your lines
ability.
on set?
The lines were always changing. So it's like you're asking me to remember lines that don't exist. And honestly, it's kind of hard to remember lines when the person who's supposed to be your boss is right there looking at you, and all you can think of is some inappropriate action that was happening between what was supposed to be, at this point, a business relationship. So yeah,
okay, all right,
I would call it more disassociation.
Hold on, you just said a mouthful. I want to understand what you just said.
Yeah.
Because as you were starting, I was like, what are you talking about?
I might have
You
went
talking
into
about
that
it's
fast.
hard to remember lines that don't exist. No,
Yeah.
the lines do exist, and lines do change on sets every single day. So that is not abnormal.
No.
Then you got to, I'm distracted and I can't focus. because of something inappropriate that's going on the set.
Yes.
Hold the door. What's going on that's inappropriate?
Well, we met in acting class and we hit it off really well. This was before the production. And we were really like passionate over what we did, which is normal. And, you know, after some drinks and things got even more passionate. And this is something that's not easy for me that I want to just put out there, but I think it's needed to be said because, yeah, it looks like I don't know what I'm doing. But when you're scared, your mind freezes up. We were definitely intimate at one point, but then I felt like after that passion was gone, I went back to business and it's like he was infatuated.
So you were intimate.
Yes.
You all dated and you were intimate before this production.
Yes.
When this production started, were you still intimate?
No, and I stated I'm not interested anymore. I felt a little uneasy.
Were you still interested in her, Mr. Richardson?
No, ma'am. And this also, may I point out, has nothing to do with the contract, any of her backstory. The acting classes, she just admitted.
Do you have the contract?
I do have the contract.
I'd like to see that. Sean, will you hand me the contract?
I'd love it if you would.
Coming up.
If I could just point out, she did read the entire script before signing the contract and knew these sex scenes would be in there.
Not with you. And you explained through physical action, not verbal action. That's two different things.
I was a director. It's what I have to do.
No, it's not. This is not a pornography.
And later.
I'm suing Mr. Pan here over a tattoo that he gave me with what I believe is faded ink. Very faded. He told me it would be vibrant.
We're back with the case of Ken Richardson, who blames Angelica Jones for causing his film to be shut down.
So this is a contract for a pay or play, $3,000, non-union gig that you signed. Shooting for how many days?
15 days shoot.
15 days.
Yes.
And how many days did Ms. Jones show up?
The first 2.
And then the other 13 no show?
Correct.
What exactly was he doing to make you feel uncomfortable?
Well, we would be training and he would put his hands like on my thigh and tell me anybody that can focus when the hand is like inappropriate there and then they're right in front of your face. Yeah, I froze.
Can I provide some context to that, please? Our production couldn't afford an intimacy coordinator. So I stepped into that role and I explained to the entire cast and crew that before I did that, I was going to be walking through the choreography of the scene because that's important to me as an artist. To like, you know, have the mise en scene and the choreography.
This is new to me, intimacy coordinator. You ever heard about that, Sean?
Yes, Your Honor.
Intimacy coordinator. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's the person that when you do intimate scenes, sex scenes,
yes,
things like that.
So it retains its professionalism and no one gets uncomfortable. And I explained that beforehand.
Where to put your hand, where to move,
exactly.
so that the actors know what's showing, what's not showing, that kind of thing.
Exactly. And if I could just point out, she did read the entire script before signing the contract and knew these sex scenes would be in there.
Not with you.
Excuse me?
Not with you. And you explained through physical action, not verbal action. That's two different things.
I was a director. It's what I have to do.
No, it's not. This is not a pornography.
So, Ms. Jones, you really look distraught today. Like you're very hurt.
Well.
And it seems that there's something missing from this because he's making it very cut and dry. Like, I'm trying to direct the film. We've got to do an intimate scene, which is intricate. And I'm showing her now, but it seems like it really bothers you that he had to touch you. Why are you crying?
I don't know how to explain like the difference in the change because you don't know him. I know him and this is not Ken.
You felt like him touching you was a manipulation. He was using his role as director and intimacy coordinator to touch you in ways that you weren't comfortable, that weren't needed for the role.
There's a difference between this is what's going to happen and then breathing and looking. And I mean, I have proof here.
I'd like to see your proof. Sean, can you hand me that evidence? What does this show?
This is like stating the difference between my professionalism and wanting to focus on the role and him. Like,
this is a text.
Taking it to another level.
This is Mr. Richardson. You were stunning today on set. What's your evening look like? You wrote back, remembering my lines.
Yes.
He writes, can I help you remember? You write, maybe another time. Okay, I guess, with the emojis of like, I'm upset, love, and a hug.
Is that a professionalism to you? Little whiny
That's
face?
not what you want to get from your director.
No, it's not.
Mr. Richardson, I wasn't born yesterday.
Okay.
You don't need to send this text as the director if you are being completely professional. You don't need to send the text like that. We know you were trying to see if that door would open. Now, what I want to know, Ms. Jones, is what made you then just leave the set? What happened after this?
I go to work. The second day, the role that I was promised, half of my lines were gone. That breached my contract, because on my contract it stated what role I was to have.
And did you have that role with less lines, or did you not have that role at all?
I had the lead role, and then after all these weird mixed communications and everything, and stuff got weird, gone.
Did she lose her role, Mr. Richardson?
No, that is not true.
She was still the lead actress?
Yep, had the most screen time as far as actresses go. We just had to cut her lines to save some time because she couldn't remember most of them. So.
See, I'm going to tell you the power of evidence, right, when you come to court. Because you are very matter of fact, Mr. Richardson. You're just matter of fact. It's just you've got it together. You were trying to give her a shot. She didn't know her lines. But had you not shown me those text messages, I could not really, as a judge of this court and as a woman, fully understand why you would be uncomfortable with the director who's also acting as an intimacy coordinator, supposedly in front of everyone. But it was the text messages that allowed me to see that, Mr. Richardson, what you were doing was walking a very dangerous tightrope. And that was trying to do a job, but having an ulterior motive to still have the ability to speak to an actress whom you formerly dated in a way that is not professional, but that's also personal. I do think that that is inappropriate. For that reason, it is the determination of this court that you owe Ms. Jones the $4,000, the money for her role, and the acting class she took to study for the role that she had under contractual agreement, and that you basically ran her out of because you do not know how to separate your personal life from your professional life, and you made the set uncomfortable for her, so much so she did not feel like she could do her job. Judgment for the defendant for $4,000. Court is adjourned.
All rise.
Judge Lake has ruled in favor of the defendant. The plaintiff owes $4,000.
I hope you're happy.
I'm not.
Sure. Well, you're getting $4,000, so.
I honestly just hope that your next production goes well and you learn from this.
Okay.
I don't want problems, Ken.
Okay. Sure.
Courtroom?
Yep, I would love to.
Coming up.
Did you follow each and every aftercare instruction?
Yes, Your Honor.
He did not, Your Honor.
Prove it.
If we followed instructions, his tattoos would not look like that and mine would not look like this. Mine look like I just got them.
Travis Sig claims bad ink caused his new tattoo to quickly fade. Logan Pan says the plaintiff has no one to blame but himself after not following the aftercare instructions.
Good day, everyone.
Good day.
This is the case of Sig versus Pan. Mr. Sig, you are suing Mr. Pan for $800 over a tattoo. Is that correct?
Yes, I'm suing Mr. Pan here over a tattoo that he gave me with what I believe is faded ink.
He gave you, or you hired him to do a
I
tattoo
hired
for
him
you?
to do the tattoo for me.
Okay.
And I'd like to submit this to evidence if I can. It's very faded. He told me it'd be vibrant.
Thank you.
And it's so ugly and hideous, I just wear pants now. I don't even wear shorts. It's so gross. This was my first tattoo. I wanted it to be special. It was at the request of my girlfriend. She went to Thailand on a trip not too long ago, and elephants were something that were very meaningful to her. And because she has a lot of tattoos, I kind of looked to her for guidance about what it should be. And as you can see, it looks like a blob. And I don't even wear shorts anymore because of this tattoo that he gave me.
Why did you choose him?
As I was saying, my girlfriend had a lot of tattoos, so she put me in touch with somebody through Instagram that could recommend people, and he suggested Mr. Pan. And I looked at some of his work on Instagram, and it looked pretty good.
Mr. Pan, do you remember getting the call or the text?
I remember getting the text, Your Honor. I remember getting everything because Travis was blowing my phone up. He was texting me several times. Can you please give me a quote? Can you please do this? I'm like, that's fine. Go ahead and call the store. Come inside. I can give you a consultation in person because I can't give you a quote over the phone.
Do you have paperwork where the person signs off on the design
Yes, I
that
do.
you said?
I got
May I have
my
that?
consent form right here for you. It does say right there, highlighted.
I'll take the rest
Thank
of
you.
evidence.
Here we go. In that picture for you. I also gave him some aftercare instructions, which he did not follow.
Coming up.
You did not expose it with any dirt.
No.
Heavy sweating.
Yes, he did.
No,
How do you know that?
I know that because he went to the beach, Your Honor.
We're back with a dispute between Travis Sigg and tattoo artist Logan Pan over a faded tattoo.
Did you get these instructions?
Yes, Your Honor, I did.
So when the tattoo was done, you obviously didn't have a problem with it because you had paid him half the money before and then half the money after. You wouldn't have paid the money if you didn't like the tattoo. So when you
Right.
first left out, you liked it.
Yes.
Is that okay
Yes.
to say?
Yes.
All right, so
And
we
he- but he-
understand that.
Yes, he promised it would stay that vibrant, though, and it wasn't. As you can see, it's faded.
I want to know, did you follow each and every aftercare instruction?
Yes.
Every single thing?
Yes, Your Honor.
He did not, Your Honor.
Prove it.
If we followed instructions, his tattoos would not look like that and mine would not look like this. Mine look like I just got them.
You did not use bar soap.
No. Yes, I did. He said I can use bar soap. He said I could wash it with, as long as it's antibacterial soap, warm soap and water. Antibacterial soap, 3 times a day, morning, midday, and evening.
He said wash tattoo with clean hands, warm and liquid antibacterial hand soap.
Hand
Do
soap.
not use bar soap. You just said you use bar soap. You said he told you you could use bar soap.
I misspoke, Your Honor. I used liquid soap.
Did you pat it dry?
Yes.
Did you apply a thin layer of regular non-scented Lubriderm or Curel?
Yes. I used Aquaphor was his personal
And
recommendation.
you did this morning and night?
Morning, midday, and night.
And you did not expose it with any dirt?
No.
Heavy sweating?
Yes, he did.
No, I
How do
didn't.
you know that?
I know that because he went to the beach, Your Honor. He was at the beach, outside in the sun, tanning, probably let the water hit
How
it,
did you
wet
know
it up.
that?
Because I seen pictures, I have pictures, I have evidence.
On where?
Let's see it.
Right here for you.
I'd like to
Here
have
you go,
it.
sir.
Judge Lake's verdict when We the People returns.
This is him in the picture after you did the tattoo.
I let him know, do not be in sunlight or water because it will damage you.
And you standing in the sunlight,
In
the
the
water, at the beach.
Your Honor, he said I can do anything I want after 4 weeks. I need to follow this care procedure up to 4 weeks. That was after 4 weeks. He doesn't have a time.
If it was after 4 weeks, Your Honor, we wouldn't be here.
4/2/22. And what's the date on the picture? What's the date on the timestamp?
The date on the picture was 3 weeks later, 4/26, Your Honor, 22.
So that's within the window
of our 4 weeks.
I've heard enough. It's obvious that you did not follow the post-care instructions, Mr. Sigg. It's a waste of everybody's time. You're trying to get money back on something. You wasted your own money. Judgment for the defendant. Court is adjourned.
Judge Lake has ruled in favor of the defendant. The plaintiff's case is dismissed. Andre Alafa claims he was sidelined from work after an unruly rideshare passenger destroyed the backseat of his car. Matthew Echeve says the rideshare company already charged him for cleaning fees.
All rise. Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Lauren Lake presiding.
Please be seated.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning. Good day, everyone.
Good day, Your Honor.
This is the case of Alafa versus Echeve. Mr. Alafa, you are suing Mr. Echeve for $1,450 for damages to your car.
Yes, ma'am.
You're a ride-share driver, am I
Yes.
correct?
Yes.
Explain to the court what happened.
Well, I don't make ends meet with my day job. So I decided, maybe I could pick up an extra few dollars doing rideshare. Got a request from this guy around 2:45. I went to pick him up. I was expecting drunk people. That's fine. I understand you're partying. But he was very unique,
In what way?
He came stumbling in my car, opened the door, slammed it, threw himself in, talking about how, he thinks we could be best friends and, what am I doing after this and all that kind of stuff. Let's keep the party going. He's the life of the party. He's a huge party animal. And, he's a hotshot business analyst who just got a promotion and he's ready to celebrate and keep it going.
That doesn't cause damage. It's annoying.
So, yeah, but that was
But
cool.
what happens after that?
So I get another request, and we get to the next destination to pick up our witness Krista here. As soon as she starts walking up to the car, he's like, yo, bro, put on those slow jams. And I'm like, I don't have a problem with music requests, but...
So what was up with the slow jams, Mr. Achave?
Hey, I gotta say, before it's the New Year's vibe. You like partying on New Year's Eve? You can't. Before that, he was just playing classical music. It was just so boring. It's New Year's Eve. You gotta party. So yeah, I saw.
Well,
Chris
when you're
here
in a
and she was
ride
good.
share, they usually ask what type of music you want to listen to.
Yeah, and I chose slow jams because that was my
He
type.
chose slow jams until he saw my next passenger.
Yeah, and by one time.
So you choose slow jams, then what happens?
I did a smart thing of choosing not to drive while I was drunk, so I chose to call the rideshare app.
You chose to come throw up in someone else's car.
Well, that's just the
Okay,
risk
so
of picking
now we're
someone up
getting to
on
the
New Year's
damage.
Eve.
So, because this sounds chaotic, but it sounds like the night was that, and it was New Year's Eve night, right?
Yeah.
So
3 a.m. in the morning.
3 a.m. in the morning. So anybody still out at 3 a.m. in the morning, it can be doing pretty much of anything at that point.
Exactly.
So 3 a.m. You get in the car. What point do you throw up?
All right. I was trying my best to hold it in. That's why I needed the slow jams. I vomited when they got to her destination. It was until the very end, and that's when I relinquished myself of all the stuff I was holding in.
Okay, so stop right there. So your witness was in the car?
Yes, Your Honor. I had her sit in the front seat, which is something I usually wouldn't do. But I asked her, first of all, do you feel comfortable riding with this other man? The whole time she's in the front, he's making passes at her.
Okay.
All the
So I
good
want to
stuff.
hear from her. Ma'am, please stand up.
Hi, Your Honor.
State your name for the record.
My name is Krista.
What's your last name, Krista?
Krista Reyes.
Reyes? Ms. Reyes, I would like to hear about the night in question when we're talking about the ride you shared with Mr. Achave. Do you remember getting in the car and Mr. Achave was in the back?
At first, I was headed towards the back seat, and then I seen him lay out, and he was like, "Do you mind if you sit in the front?" The passenger back there is a little intoxicated. I just felt weird about it, and I was just like, "Yeah, that's fine," because I've never taken a ride share before where I had to sit in the front. I do it all the time, and I was just getting off of my shift at work, and then. Yeah, and that's when all this stuff started to happen. I was just sitting up there, and he starts saying things like, "Oh, you're so beautiful. Can I have your number?" And so I told him, respectfully, I have a boyfriend. And he was like, he doesn't have to know and stuff like that.
Oh, so he was being a creep.
Yeah.
What did you observe about his behavior and his level of drunkenness?
Well, he was just in the back seat, singing and stuff, just trying to start conversation with both of us. And once we're approaching my destination, we just smell something. So I look back and he has throw up all over himself.
Ugh.
And then he starts peeing.
What?
He peed on himself, yeah.
Ew.
Yeah.
Well, that's
Mr.
it's 18
Achave.
shots. It has to go somewhere. It's in and out. What else you do when you're drunk?
Your Honor, not
Are
only
you
that,
admitting that it happened?
Yeah, of course.
All right. That's all I need to hear. Mr. Alava, what would you like to add?
With the puddle of throw up in his stomach, urine all on my seats and all on the floor, he proceeds to light up a cigarette like nothing happened.
Did you light up a cigarette after that?
Okay, look, I don't smoke cigarettes every day, but it's a holiday. I don't know what you'd be doing on a holiday. You should be having fun and partying.
Okay. So I can tell anything goes with you.
Coming up.
All those fees should have been on the rideshare company. They should have taken that into account when they charged me the money that I paid to go to your clinic.
Listen, it's me and you today.
Okay, hold on.
They overcharged you right
Let's
there.
get some order.
And later.
She was on the dance or on the bar dancing. She did not even pay attention to everybody else because she was so busy dancing.
Told you.
We're back with the case of Andre Alafa, who brought rideshare passenger Matthew Echeve to court over lost wages and cleaning fees.
Tell me about what you went through and how much that cost. I have your evidence here. It says that you had vacuum, shampoo, backseat, and rugs. You had all of that.
Because I couldn't find a shop that would actually touch that stuff. So it sat in my car for about 4 or 5 days, marinating. I wasn't going to clean it. because I have a queasy stomach. But
yeah, that's
yeah.
Oh my goodness, I love that. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Sometimes
It's
I just
okay.
have to laugh. And
Yeah,
once I'm
yeah.
talking about vomit and urinating, I have a queasy stomach.
It's just things that people do, you know? It's happening.
Oh my God, I needed it.
Yeah.
So you have vomit and you have urine in the back of your car.
Oh, and
You
plus the
can't clean it
smoke.
up. And then the smoke.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even want to think about what that smell was. I have your receipt here. You have itemized out these expenses that you occurred day after day after day.
Yes.
And this was the money you lost.
Yes. Well, the other document shows what I would have earned for that week.
Exactly. This
Those
is what
are
you
lost
would have.
wages. Yes.
All right.
And if we could add some psychological damages on there too.
And you say you did receive the $200 from the ride share.
Yeah, it went straight to getting my kids to school for that week.
Okay, understood.
I didn't realize they had school in
But
New Year's.
you did not put the cost of getting your kids to school in your statement.
No, I didn't. But it is what it is.
What is it? You in court. That's what you're supposed to tell me.
I can show you that they attended school.
This laugh? You in this laugh, Mr. Laugh?
I paid my fair share of dues.
Oh.
They charged me the cleaning fee, and I paid that. And he marked it down that, I threw up, I urinated out, most of it got into my pants. But I have the fee right here. I paid $250 for that ride, and that included the cleanup fees. And so all those fees should have been on the rideshare company. They should have taken that into account when they charged me the money that I paid to go to your cleaning.
Listen, it's me and you today.
Okay, hold on. Hold on.
We'll deal with the rideshare company another
Let's
day.
get some order. Let's get some order. This is the issue, and then I'm done with this. I'm tired of talking about vomit and pee. The rideshare company has a policy which they upheld. They gave you the $200. Technically, in your list of damages and things that you went through, your fees, you paid $246.75 to get your car cleaned. So with the $200 they already gave you, technically you were only out $46.75 just for the cleaning. The problem was you needed to find someone to do that, get it done, let your car dry out, because I even learned the hard way from a detail when I didn't let my car completely dry out. Even when your rugs are wet from just nothing, if you don't let it completely dry, you're going to have the worst smell. That happened to me. So I can only imagine what type of smell you were trying to avoid. So after it was fully clean, you could not drive it. And I get that. What I have to now assess, this court's job is assessing as to whether or not Mr. Achave's behavior, what he did that night, went above and beyond what we would reasonably expect. And I would say, vomiting in the back of a rideshare car is something we could reasonably expect. Would that be terrible? Yes. Urinating, I think, goes above and beyond what I think. But for your testimony, I would not really understand how egregious your actions are. But since you're in here gallivanting and showboating, it's like you're still living out this New Year's night, extravaganza that you experience, and nothing's any big deal. I find your behavior and the way you're approaching this situation to be irresponsible. You are not acknowledging what your actions did and set in motion for another human being. You're not acknowledging that. And that's a problem to me. So with that said, Mr. Alafa, I do believe you're entitled to the cleaning fees and your damages in terms of your loss of wages from Mr. Achave. However, you've already gotten paid $200 of that cleaning fee. Therefore, your complaint asks for $1,450. We've got to subtract the $200, which means judgment for you, the plaintiff, for $1,250. Court is adjourned.
Judge Lake has ruled in favor of the plaintiff. The defendant owes $1,250.
Can't get back in my car, but hope you learned your lesson.
I still think we should be suing the rideshare app. I mean, that's more on them.
You may now exit the courtroom.
Coming up.
She has a secret Santa that we all know is her boss. He's gifting her all the time with stuff, so why should she even worry about this gas card whatsoever?
Katie Mills claims her coworker intentionally took a secret Santa gift that was meant for her. Sam Klein claims the plaintiff saw him grab the present as a prank.
Good day, everyone.
Good day.
This is a case of Mills versus Klein. Ms. Mills, you're suing Mr. Klein for $1,000, the cost of a gas gift card you say he took when he grabbed a present that was meant for you. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Explain.
Your Honor, we had a Secret Santa party, and myself and another coworker were out dancing and drinking and having a lovely time. My coworker called to my attention that he was switching around the presents while I was off dancing, and his present and my present apparently looked the same, and he decided to switch them around, and then he left the party with it, and so I didn't get my gas gift card.
You don't do that in Secret Santa. What was the point of that, Mr. Klein?
Everybody was having a great time. We was all drinking, enjoying the fun.
Until you
She was
decided
on the
to steal
table,
my gas
you know,
card.
She was dancing, drunk, having fun, just like everybody else. I did the same thing around the gift tables. I was just switching around gift tables, and I noticed that ours had the same bag and same wrapping.
So why would you switch it? What's the point?
I was just playing around. It was all a joke, just playing around.
What did you do?
All I did was dancing. I just took one hand and took the other hand and just playing around, and put it back on the table.
If it's Secret Santa, they're already addressed. So you purposefully then grabbed the gift with Ms. Mills' name on it and walked out?
Yes, she saw me do it. She even waved me by.
So you're saying she saw you being silly and switching them like, you have mine and I have yours and blah, blah, blah. And then you feel like she said, okay, go ahead. I don't care whatever my gift is, you can have it and I'll take what yours is.
She didn't mind.
Coming up.
You took the bag that had my name on it because you took the gas card.
No, you took the bag with her name on it.
Yes.
We're back with a dispute between co-workers Katie Mills and Sam Klein over a stolen Secret Santa gift.
Did you change the bags, Mr. Klein, or did you change the names and put her name in your bag and your name in,
Your Honor,
know what I meant.
changed
Switch
nothing.
the bags.
I legit just switched bags places. That's all I did. One bag's in this place, the other bag's in this place.
No, that is not what
I
you
didn't
did.
change
You
the tag.
took the
I didn't change the bag.
You took
Everything's
the
still
bag
the
that had
same.
my name on it
She
because
saw
you
me.
took the
All I
gas
did was
card.
dance with
you
the
took
bag.
the bag with her name on it.
Yes, and she knows too, and the whole office knows too.
because
The crazy part is, I even have a witness here, Miss Scott as well, who could testify
I
to that.
definitely want to hear from your witness, and I am hoping that they did not have as much to drink as you two. This is like we're on a clown train heading nowhere. Step up, ma'am. I want to hear what you have to say. What's your name? State your name for the court.
Your Honor, my name is Monica Scott.
Okay, Miss Scott.
Yes.
You were at the party.
I was enjoying it. Everyone was enjoying it. She was on the on the bar dancing. So
It
she
was
was
a
dancing.
Christmas
She was
party,
having a
and
good
we
time.
don't need to really bring that up here?
She did not even pay attention to everybody else because she was so busy dancing.
Told you.
So
I don't know if that works for you. Your witness just basically validated the fact that she didn't really know what she was doing.
Everyone knows what I'm doing.
Your witness just stood up and lent credibility to the point that she said,
Your Honor, I'm
she's
the office
just partied
prankster.
at the
Everyone
party.
knows
what
I'm
you do.
joking around.
No, Mr. Klein. You keep testifying that she knew exactly what you were doing.
She did.
But your witness just said she didn't.
she has a Secret Santa that we all know is her boss, okay? He's gifting her all the time with stuff, so
that
why
is
should she even
absolutely
worry
not
about this
pertinent
gas
to this
card?
case whatsoever.
What does it mean?
So
That is not pertinent.
That's crazy.
Hold on.
Why are we talking about that in this court?
Ms. Mills, is your Secret Santa really your boss?
Yes.
Yes, Your Honor.
Judge Lake's verdict when We the People returns.
Mr. Klein.
Yes, ma'am.
You know good and well that was her Secret Santa gift. They were on the table. It had her name on it. You switched the bags because what you both know is that she gets gifts that are huge from the boss because I don't know what they got going on. It's not relevant to this case. I won't ask, but I can infer, Ms. Mills, what's going on. And so you decided, I'm sure her gift's gonna be better than mine, so I'm gonna go ahead and switch them. But once you found out that the gift, how substantial the gift was, and even if it wasn't, if it was a roll of toilet paper, the bag had her name on it. The fact that you did not have possession of your gift did not mean that you gave up ownership of it. It had your name on it. It was meant for you. It belongs to you. Therefore, it has been determined by this court, judgment for the plaintiff for $1,000. Court is adjourned.
Judge Lake has ruled in favor of the plaintiff. The defendant owes $1,000.